up the king.
Test, 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 test. How we looking? Oh, Stream Deck, no sound effects. You gotta love that when you're playing sound effects, but nothing's coming through. Yes! Okay. Let's make sure this works now. Encoding overload. Oh, you love to see it. Oh, you love to see it. I might have to go back here right quick. I might have to go back here to the whatchamacallit. The stream starting soon screen just to spare the computer. You know, this is why we have the stream starting soon page, so that I can test behind the scenes before I really go live, and we can make sure that everything looks good and is fine. But then, sometimes you do that, and then when you go live, it's still fucked up anyways. Woo! Oh, you can't hear the sound effects. That's right. Okay, that's good. How about now? No. How about if I change the source? Are we gonna crash? Let's see. There we go. Yep. Mm-hmm. We are, apparently. According to Scott and Peter, we always have been. See, when I jump back over to the camera, it should start lagging. But you know how it go. Give it a moment. See, we see a little bit of lag, but give it a moment, we'll be all right. How is everyone? How are we all doing? Mic gain too high. Let's see. I have to go. Ooh. Why is it so loud? I got you. Sorry about that. I don't know why that happens, but I know how to fix it. Just wait. There we go. There. Is that better? Are we good now? Is that much better? Thank you, thank you. What the fuck? You know? You know? Let's see. There we go. Modern Warfare 2 mic, hilarious. Turn it up now. Alright. We sounded better, right? Not the trap house mic. So funny. The jail mic, yes. What up, everybody? What up? I want to say a what up and a wagwan. Let me make sure we're good. Hold up. I'll put a chapter marker on this so that everybody skips this in the replay. But go thumbs up the ting. My buttons aren't working right now for some reason to put it in the chat that says thumbs up the ting. But thumbs up the ting.
Thumbs up the ting.
Definitely got to do that. Dono link for Scott and Peter new equipment is up there on the screen. Except for some reason the and logo shows up as an ampersand abbreviation, which we fucking hate that. So let's just change that real quick to say Spite Scott and Peter. Why does it do that? Why can't computers handle the ampersand? I'm sure there's some very well done YouTube documentary out there that explains why. But I haven't seen it. Okay, what's up to all the mods and all the members? Lindsay Lou, Devin Kelly, I see you guys. Shift R, or is it Shifter? Who knows? Shu Murphy, look at me scrolling. Lucy Tunes, what up? Look at all this. Look at all these people. Let's see who won the poll. Oh, the poll is pretty split. Peter Mingles winning, just edging out, and pun intended, just edging out Scott Johnson with 38%. Scott has 33%, and Vince has 29%. That's good. That's pretty good results. I'm happy to see that. His mix sounds like Peter's. So funny. Look at you guys. Audio is Peter quality. Sometimes the computer, the laptop, mic input setting where I have it like to the lowest volume so that it doesn't sound like that high, loud gain. Sometimes when I start up a stream, it just doesn't like save that it doesn't save that setting. So sometimes and sometimes it does. So sometimes I go to stream and everything's fine. Sometimes I go to stream and I don't check to make sure that that input gain is lowered, and we have issues like we had today. But that's why we check. That's why we check. And now listen. Now listen, it sounds perfect. It sounds amazing, which we love. So good. We love that. Okay. How is everybody doing? What's up? It's been a long time. It's been 8 months, I think, since we did a Scott and Peter stream. 8 months. Can you believe it? Are you still going to come do some public speaking at MLMs on MLMs at schools? I'd still love to. I would love to. Scott edging Vince, I sent a new chapter in the Beyond fan fiction. Yep. Silicon Valley says, never forget that dark room confession from Ming when Scott was at the Trump rally. Yeah, that was something. I'll never forget that. You're broke, you're fucking poor. So true, guy incognito. Bad dog, what up? 8 months, way too long. Okay. Well, here's I'll tell you the couple reasons why I haven't reacted to Scott and Peter in a while. First of all, thumbs up the ting.
Thumbs up the ting.
65 people watching, only 58 likes. Make it make sense. Scott and Peter, first of all, we've done a lot of Scott and Peter streams in the past. I've done a lot in my day talking about these two goofballs, these two nincompoops. In the past year, really, I've refrained mostly from doing shows about them. A, because I feel like there's been more important stuff to talk about. B, because there was a stretch where I was doing a lot of Scott and Peter streams, where it was like at least, last year I was streaming like 3 times a week, right? I was streaming like Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And at least one of those streams would be more or less entirely dedicated to reacting to Building Fortunes Radio, which is fine. I mean, they do a show every week, so it was easy content for me to make to just every I think they do their show Friday night. So it was easy for me to be like, okay, well, that's the Saturday stream, I guess, reacting to Scott and Peter, right? But there was some people who were in the comments being like, it's too much Scott and Peter. They just say the same things all the time. So I was like, okay, that's how you want to play? That's how you want to play. The crowd fan favorite thing to react to is getting too much of a good thing, you say. Sounds like a good problem to have. So I was like, all right, let me build the mystique and make people fiend for it a little bit more. Not that you couldn't just go to listen to the show on your own, but I get that that's not, it's just mind-numbingly boring on its own, unless I'm reacting to it, which I get. So that was one reason. Another reason that we haven't done a Losing Fortunes Radio stream in a while. Yeah, big I will turn this car around energy. So true. Another reason is because, and for this episode that we're going to react to today, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I actually, in order to be able to do this stream right now, I went and I downloaded the audio of their most recent episode and made some, I'm not going to say edits, but I just censored out, like I just muted out a couple of things. And trimmed off the first like half of the episode where they're not talking about me, because I skimmed through this episode to see if I wanted to talk about it. Whoa, sorry. I skimmed through this. Yeah, not yet. I skimmed through this episode to see if I wanted to react to it and see if it was like, worthy of the whatever. And the first half of it is them talking about like UFOs and COVID and shit like that, and of course Roger Van Vlissingen and what's the other guy's name? Who even cares? But I had to censor out a couple of things because I've got situations that I'm dealing with behind the scenes that I've been dealing with for the past year, and Scott and Peter love to speculate about those things or just outrightly talk about them, and I'm trying to be very careful, and so I used to go blind react to the Scott Johnson and Peter Mingles episodes because it was the funnest for me to do it that way, where like you guys are getting my actual live reaction, and that's how I like to do them. And with these episodes that they've been doing in the past year, I'm pretty sure almost every episode, if not every episode, is them mentioning something that I can't talk about, and I think that I would be sort of, I don't want to risk rebroadcasting what they say, and then somehow that counts as me saying it. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though it's not my mouth saying the words, you know, somebody could say that I'm rebroadcasting, thus talking about something I'm not supposed to be talking about. And so that's kind of taken the fun out of it for me, because, you know, I don't want to have to go listen to it beforehand and then listen to it again with you guys, because it's, first of all, that's actual like torture. It's only fun for me to do it when I'm reacting to it on stream with you guys. So you know, and obviously I can't honestly I obviously I can't get people to you know, maybe somebody wants to volunteer. Maybe somebody wants to volunteer to go listen to the BFR episodes before they come out and censor out any mention of certain things, and then tell me like, hey, here's the audio, like it's good to go, like react to it. But even then it's risky, right? So you know, that's why. Anyways, pay your goon taxes. Pay your goon tax. Streamlabs link in the chat. I'm trying to click the button to put the dono link in the chat, but sometimes it just doesn't want to work, man. And sometimes it don't make no sense why. It never makes any sense why, actually, because it should just always work, but it is what it is. Am I right? It is what it is. So we're also going to get into, when we listen to this episode, they bring up, of course, the Grand Wizard Robert FitzPatrick, who we love. And we also, where's the one that I like?
Let's go.
Thank you. And they also bring up my last stream that I did talking about Rodan and Fields and the company Saint, these two MLMs that are now no longer going to be MLM anymore. I also, in the last stream that I was talking about that, I knew I was forgetting something. I forgot two things. One is Ray Higdon. Wait. Do I have the audio of the Ray Higdon going, ah? There it is. Ray Higdon, who, if you've been following me for a little bit, you've seen me do the streams about him and his wife's reality show called Play to Win, or Pay to Win, where they just literally abuse these people. Just abuse these people. And Ray Higdon has now sort of done this pivot in the last year where, on top of being an MLM scammer and like a straight up cult guru who's, you know, if you join Ray Higdon's inner circle where you pay an exorbitant amount of money, he'll coach you on how to coach coaches in a multi-level marketing company to become a more successful scammer. He's done this pivot where, on top of doing that, he's also incorporating the Bible, and he's like talking about the good word and being a Christian. And it's like, it's such a gross, it's gross. It's gross. You know, you know, as though these people needed more angles on how to manipulate people. But in that, Ray Higdon did a video talking about Saint and Rodan and Fields and why they're no longer going to be MLMs and what you should do about it. And it's a complete. We can check that out if you want. And the other thing I forgot to mention was I had corresponded a little bit with the Grand Wizard Robert FitzPatrick about Saint and Rodan and Fields, and he shared some thoughts with me that I think would be very interesting and cool to share with you guys about Saint and Rodan and Fields. And before you say, no, don't retread what you said on the last stream, don't talk about different things related to what you said on the last stream, talk about Tex and Ming. Well, a good portion of this Tex and Ming episode that we're going to listen to is, you know, in typical fashion, them reacting to my most recent stream. So that's what this episode is talking about. But that's the background. Now you guys know why I haven't done a Tex and Peter stream in a long time. And also, the third reason is I just think it's so funny that they are so obsessed with me, and they do an episode about me literally every week. And Scott specifically, spends countless hours watching every live stream I do, every video, every Instagram post, and like gestating and marinating upon it and pontificating and laying in bed at night thinking about it. Also, he can be like, yeah, when I say that on the next stream, that'll get him.
Do you like me?
And so I think it's been kind of funny for the past almost a year to just ignore them, you know? And who knows, maybe I'll keep them guessing. Maybe I'll feed their desires by doing a couple more Scott and Peter streams going forward, and maybe I'll do some maybe I won't do another one for a year. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just a shameless clickbaiter who wants to scam his audience and talk shit about very legitimate companies to make money on the internet, right? Uh I do whatever whatever the dollar directs me to do, I will do. So there's that Streamlabs link in the channel. You know what I'm talking about?
Marco, play it some more, Marco.
Nice. Jessica, can you message me on Discord and send me that list of schools again, please? Thank you. Marco versus Vince Part 2. That could be fun. What's up? What's up, Eliza? I hope you're doing well. Vince is saying you have him blocked in this. Is this correct? I don't have him blocked, but on YouTube I've hidden him so that his comments don't show up because he was just spamming like mindlessly. It was getting to be too much in the chat. He would just pick fights with goons. Thumbs up the ting. Thumbs up the ting.
Thumbs up the ting.
Ray Higdon, we love it. Ray Higdon is like, Beyond says I will screen their shit and give you one of my scripted debunks. That would be sick. And Devin says she'll help you with that. Ray Higdon is like if you ordered one of the hosts from Shark Tank off Temu. That's so funny. I'm reading your guys' comments. Ray Higdon is Dollar Store Tony Robbins. High key, Scott has a huge crush on you, Marco. So true. So true. They are keeping up with their 4 times removed, 3 times attached grandson. Yep. Have you blocked Vince like he claims? He's been ranting about it. I want to see Glenn debate Vince. They hate each other. Glenn destroying Vince in the chat was always hilarious. Not Marco siphoning the last 2 Scott and Peter listeners and making them extinct. You know what's so funny is on their actual website, losingfortunesradio.com, it says that they have 500 and some episodes of this shit and only 5 followers. Now, I'm not here to follower shame anybody, but again, if you haven't seen any of this saga before, the whole beef started because I refused Scott Johnson's repeated requests to go on their shitty little radio show. It's horrible quality. Nobody listens to it. And I told him as politely as I could back in 2021, it literally makes I would literally reach more people and help more people by just doing a video on my own channel than doing a collaboration with you. And don't get me wrong, that's not what it's about. Like, I'll collaborate with people who have smaller audiences than me. Like, you've seen me, if you follow people like Julie Anderson, shout out to Julie Anderson. I've appeared on Julie Anderson's stream multiple times, and I love it. That's not what it's about for me. But at the same time, it's like you have to kind of care a little bit too, right? You have to care a little bit. There was one episode that Scott and Peter did where, for whatever reason, they didn't have the technology to use their normal format where they use this radio show method. So they had to do it like as a stream on Facebook. And the audio was so much better. And I like clowned them for being like, bro, this is like your plan B setup. And it sounds way better than your like main setup. And they still stubbornly stuck to their their main thing. Okay, so here's what the episode is called on buildingfortunesradio.com. They upload this shit to like multiple platforms. So on if you search Building Fortunes Radio iHeart, there's like an iHeart Radio podcast stream where they also upload it. This episode on there is called Scott Johnson and Peter Mingles on MLM News and Influencer Drama on YouTube. But I checked, and the exact same episode is called something else. It's so hard to fucking navigate this shit. I think this is it. Scott Johnson and Peter Mingles on anti-MLM ranters and poor criticism on Building Fortunes Radio. So, I guess that's one way to spin it into new content, is just give it another title on a different platform. But here it is here on my channel, Always Marco. You can see that I uploaded it 12 hours ago. There's no views. It's unlisted. It's called Tex and Ming Explain Why Marco is Stupid. And this is the 37-minute version that I trimmed down because of the fact that the first half an hour is about COVID conspiracies and Joe Biden and UFOs. So so I'm just gonna start it from where they actually start talking about your boy.
Marco.
But I will say it's not fair if I don't play the intro. So let's play the intro that we haven't heard in so long. Get up, get out your seats, and shake that thing to Building Fortunes Radio intro. Hold on, can we hear it? Hold on, nobody can hear this shit. So anticlimactic. Google Chrome, properties, application, Google Chrome. There we go. Now let's try. All right, here we go. There we go.
Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with our marketing partners, we're here to help our PM marketing network lead customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingles.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingles here. You're listening to us on Building Fortunes Radio. It's www.buildingfortunesradio.com. I'm going to date today because it's November 13th, 2021. It's 8:30 p.m.
November 13th, 2021? What the fuck? This ain't it. It doesn't really matter. I only wanted to play the intro for y'all anyways. But how the fuck are we in 2021? Look at this. This is how bad their website is. I'm at Scott Johnson's radio show on the home page. I'm at the home page. And this is the first episode you can click.
And you'll see the entire lawsuit.
So let's just do what I initially planned. I'm gonna play it from here. The nostalgia. You best have kept that intro music. I got you. Julie is awesome. Yes. Bring back the Zuck streams. What Zuck stream? Oh, Facebook. Yes. Have you heard about what your man's David Monetier is up to? As far as I know, he's running a new pyramid scheme called Envision You. I did a stream about that last year. Vince hates you so bad. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to load up. Vince, the home business king. Home business king to see... Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, wow, he's still making new videos. Vince, new video... Reacting to E-Beggar, Always Marco's latest MLM video, Prison Gangs. What the fuck? The last one I watched was 4 months ago. It was this one. Never assume what someone has. This is his video defending living in a mobile home. Working your network marketing business is like making breakfast in your mobile home. Every video he should put in parentheses afterwards, in your mobile home. Man, we might have to react to this as well. E-Beggar, Always Marco. Why do I even platform these people, bro? I almost have 100,000 subscribers. I'm just too petty. I just love it. I just love getting down in the mud. Okay, let's listen to this Losing Fortunes Radio episode. Come on.
Nope, we're good. We're good.
All right. Well, sounds good. I guess we can get into talking about Marco a little bit, because.
Sure.
Already, oh my god, it's so fucking funny. They did like half an hour before this too, more than half an hour before this, talking about everything under the sun. And then it's like you can hear him looking at his little notepad going like, okay, well, that's everything. And then they're trying to act like it's just coming up, like, oh, I guess we'll talk about Marco, and acting like, oh, well, I guess now that we have some time, we'll talk about him, and not like what it really is, which is that this whole thing, the whole show they do, the whole intro, hey everyone, it's Peter Mingles, we started this show back in 1922 with blah, 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 isn't just to get to them talking about me. The whole purpose of the whole show is to talk about me. So I think that's so funny, the way he tries to be so nonchalant about it. Peter, Tex, you're very chalant. You're very chalant about it, Tex. Relax. Okay, let's that's so funny to me. Well, I guess we could talk about Marco. Oh yeah, I guess so. Like he wasn't always gonna talk about Marco the whole fucking time. So funny. Why is the dono alert so goddamn big on this screen? Bart Zach, thank you so much. I'll put the dono goal up here too. Who's going to be the first actual Streamlabs dono to spite Scott and Peter? We'll see. Thank you, Bart Zach, for the membership. What is that? 5 gifted memberships? Wow. That's big. That's a bag, everyone. Thank you so much for that. Where's the I gotta get the bag? Here we go.
I gotta get the bag.
So true. Oh, use the bingo. Yes, I should use the bingo. It's an MLM. They can't afford good web dev. So true, Sev. Shake that ass. Scott was such a wimp with Julie. He was so nice to her. Then she left. He called her a nut job. Yeah, that's still a classic moment. So hard not to dance. Don't resist it. Go for it. What up, Catasoni? Welcome. Thank you. Glad you got to join live. Yes, it's really live. Some people think it's pre-recorded. Sometimes I do a video not in front of a green screen. People think it's green screen. Sometimes I'm here in my mansion living room and they think it's a green screen and it's not a green screen. I need to go back and find the stream where Marco did a post-credits scene on the stream and danced for 10 minutes because Peter played the theme song forever. Go find that. Not them already doing reruns. I thought it was 1998. So funny. They were talking about me in 2021. That would have actually been crazy. I think that actually was pretty close. I think I was actually pretty close to playing something that I shouldn't have rebroadcasted. Spray technology is amazing. E-beggar. That's so funny. E-beggar. A guy who's literally one sidewalk away from homelessness, you know? No way.
Silica _Valley just dropped a bag,
way.
30 Canadian dollars. Newt.
Where's the... There you go. Silica Valley starting it off nicely, spiting Scott and Peter. We love it. Hey, we've already officially made more money on this stream than Scott and Peter have in their entire MLM careers and radio broadcasting careers, which we're talking like decades of 2 grown men's combined efforts. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Congratulations to Burger Baron, Beyond, BA, Arcade, and Eliza for getting gifted memberships. Wow, we love to see more members in the chat. When all the names in the chat are gray, it makes me think of like, you know, Cement, you know, I Am Legend, Death and Decay. When it's all green, when everything becomes green, it's like the grass is growing. That's how I feel. It's like life is coming back, nature is coming back. That's how it feels, you know? It's got to get to the point where people are getting gifted memberships who don't even know they subscribe to this channel. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess I just got a notification that somebody gifted me a membership to this channel. That reminder for me to unsubscribe. It's so funny that Scott and Vince hate each other. It's also funny too because Scott and Dominic Izzo hate each other. These people are just like immune to getting along with anyone but each other. Even though I'm pretty sure Peter also dislikes Scott behind the scenes. Has Losing Fortunes gone into syndication? Vince is saying Marco is scared to debate him, which is why Marco blocked him. What do you mean? I already debated him once. It's so funny, Vince calling Marco a beggar when he's so poor. You guys are fucking hilarious. Okay. Thank you again, Barzak, for the memberships, and thank you, Silica Valley, for the donation. Barzak. Big bag coming. Big bag guanin. I gotta get the bag.
I gotta get the bag.
Marco, go spruce up.
I took a full load. Do you like me?
Do you?
That's haram.
The audio, the gift that keeps on giving is this show. E-beggar gotta shake that digital can and become the e-bagger.
Bars. Thanks, Marco.
Can I hear Marco? I love that one. That's what this stream has devolved into. It's just people asking me to play sounds.
Marco.
Was that the one or was it this one?
Marco.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. There's no link to get a membership from me here, just super chats. You have to turn it on in your YouTube channel settings. I know it's fucking stupid. It should just default for everybody. But you have to turn it on so that you're able to get gifted memberships. Because Jackie, I'm pretty sure you would have got gifted one because you'd be in here. You'd be putting them in them hours in this cult. Toiling in the fields. I see you out there. I see you out there in the fields on this cult commune, and it warms my heart when I'm standing atop the balcony of the mansion and I'm looking out onto the field, onto the workspace, and I see people like Jackie Unfiltered ASMR out there toiling in the hot sun, wearing a potato sack, rag outfit, pulling weeds, picking berries, collecting sticks, all these important essential tasks that we must do in the cult. Thank you, Walter Turner. See, that's what it looks like. You see the lineup of people. That's when I get them cleaned up, and they look like that. The grays are not like us. So true. So it means a lot, It really does. Bad dog. He's a bad dog. That's true. Maribel says, I'm actually a Patreon member. I signed up for a year. That's true. The patrons deserve some respect too. Equal respect. Please play Vince swearing at the goons. Where is that? The full load sound is hilarious, right? Link in bio for people to follow along. Oh yes, okay. Link the bingo for people to follow along. Sorry. Why did I read it as link in bio? I have influencer brain. It's like I have influencer brain rot. Okay, here in the chat is the Building Fortunes Radio bingo. Click that, open it in another tab or on another device if you have it, and you can play the bingo as we listen to this episode. Pickle 35 minutes late, don't even worry about it. We had some issues. We're good. And thumbs up the ting. Silica says, I got a raise today? Donate more! I'm playing. Congratulations, Silica Valley. That's amazing. We love that. We love that. We love that.
I took a full load.
Sorry. Bingo. I forgot about bingo. Bingo. Wow. Follow along with the Losing Fortunes Radio. Bingo. Link is in the chat. Wow. No way I have an audio of him saying, bro, I have like literally. Okay, let me see if I can actually show you this so you can understand how deep this goes. Okay, so on my stream deck, you see there's all the like sound effects that I have, right? You can program these buttons to be like a folder. So here's the sound effects folder. When I click this, there's a subfolder with Scott and Peter sound effects only, and there's like 2 pages of this shit. 2 pages of just Scott and Peter. And sometimes I forget what I have. Thank you, the pickle. That's amazing. The pickle. Whoa, whoa. The pickle. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I gotta get the bag.
Recruiting new members to this cult. Yes! We love to see it. We love it. Let's go! Let's see. The pickle gifted. Connor Banshee. Yo, Bobby Sim Racing Experience. Maribel Blue, also a member and a patron. Wow, it's like having the Infinity Stones. Dropping a bag to my Streamlabs, that's a stone. Being a member on Patreon, that's a stone. Being a member on YouTube, that's a stone. Gifting memberships, that's a stone. What's another stone? Super chat, I don't know. Following me on Instagram, that's another stone. Always Marco, I'm stuck at 10.9k. Amazing. The Bad Dog was also gifted. Oh, hold on, there's more. Silica Valley. Bad Dog. Let's go. My late fee. Thank you. It's really amazing how I could have $100,000 to fight lawsuits and whatever else if every person that subscribes to me just donated $1. Think about it. Okay, let's see. Scott and Peter hate a dono war. It's true. Actually, they're going to talk about that in this episode. They're going to talk about how I only make money when I talk about them, and that's probably why I'm doing this stream, because I'm broke and my channel is dying. The same shit they've been saying for 3 years. They actually predicted in 2021, I wish I knew where this episode was off the top of my head, but they predicted in 2021 that I would be like working at McDonald's. It was like McDonald's or something like that by 2023 or something like that. What happened? The circle of goons. So true. $1 per sub would be awesome. We might have to react if you guys are behaved, because this Vince video is 17 minutes. If you guys behave yourselves and you're on your best behavior, and we pick a lot of berries and sticks during this stream, and we get the bag,
I got to get the bag.
I might extend and do a little segment reacting to Vince's, because I don't think Vince deserves his own stream. Let's be real. He's like a side character. If Scott and Peter are side characters to the Always Marco, universe, the AMCU, the Always Marco Cinematic Universe, or I guess the AMU, Always Marco Universe, then Vince is like Hawkeye, like he's an Avenger, but he's not the Hulk, he's not Captain America, he's not Iron Man, he's like Maria Hill, Nick Fury's assistant, played by Kobe Smulders, who's like, what else has she been in, That's Vince. That's how I think of Vince in this like lore, Okay, let's listen. Here we go.
We can get into talking about Marco a little bit, because
Sure.
K-Den says, I saw you working Burger King drive-thru in 2022. So true.
Our little friend, and I use that in quotation marks, he mentioned in the last video that he did, because he did a video about Rodan and Fields and Saint, both of which have recently announced they're dropping the MLM model and going to direct sales. Now, they call it affiliate marketing, which is really the same thing as direct sales, okay? And my definition of direct sales is where each individual, there's no upline or downline, each individual is connected directly to the company.
Just to be clear, the voice you're hearing right now, Tex, the more like gravelly voice, the a bit lower, like more monotone voice is on the right side, right here. And Peter, the one who's like, Marco, the one whose voice is always like, well, he talks like he's on a roller coaster. That's this one right here on the left.
And so the money you make is the money from the sales you make to customers. Again, because there's no downline or upline, everyone else's efforts is completely independent of yours, from a profit perspective. And so it's a big change, particularly, if you have a large downline in one of these companies, you were making a lot of money, and now that's going to go to, close.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. The bingo. Forgot about the bingo. Okay, let's see. Hold on. The bingo. Thank you to Beyond for creating the bingo. Okay, let's see. What have they already said that we can react? Say they're to return to talking about Marco. Okay, we have that. Free space. We'll take that. Talks about Marco's apartment. Scott mentions a detailed comment in the live chat. Peter speculates about Marco's income. I'm sure we're going to get there. Marco predicts something Scott and Peter are going to say. I'll give myself that one, even though I kind of cheated because I've skimmed this already. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and if you some of you, like, this will generate differently for each of you. That's why it's like a genuine bingo, because some of you will have different options and you'll get bingo earlier. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, good to know. Good.
Close to zero, relatively, and so it's a big deal. Now, I don't have a whole lot of empathy for these people, because I think, like I mentioned last week, if they had the retail sales, even at the 50% level, they wouldn't have made these changes. And I don't know that, but it just doesn't make any sense, unless there just wasn't many retail sales going on, and these companies either got a knock on the door from the FTC, or they started reading the tea leaves for what's been happening the last few years, and decided that, and of course there's a, large group of anti-FTC.
Did he just sneeze?
Or they started.
Did Peter just sneeze while Scott's talking?
Reading the tea leaves for what's been happening the last few years, and decided that.
Can't make this shit up.
And of course there's a, large group of anti-MLM Huns out there. We know that, and so the environment has changed. The market has changed to the point where MLM is becoming better known.
DTI with a great comment saying, interesting that he says affiliate marketing is the same as direct selling. Often these people use direct sales, network marketing, and MLM interchangeably. Yes, and that is on purpose because everything I said in my stream about Rodan and Fields and Saint was, of course, correct because I'm one of the most knowledgeable people in the world on the subject of multi-level marketing. Let's keep it a buck. And so in order for Scott to be able to disagree with me or find some flaw in what I'm saying, he has to use this very clever semantic shifting where he has his own interpretation, his own definition of what direct selling means. Because if his own subjective definition of what direct selling and network marketing and multi-level marketing means, if he has his own meaning, well, now he has carte blanche to disagree with me and pick apart what I said and find out that I'm wrong. So that's the whole purpose of it. You're witnessing in real time the mind of a crazy person. The mind of a crazy person. That's what we're witnessing with Scott and Peter. So I'm glad you picked up on that. I was going to talk about that later, but yes, the reason why he says my definition is because he's just making it up. He's just making it up. We love to see it. Bobby Panamar sneezed right on the back of his boy's neck. So true. So true.
Winky, you're a little mini inch Winky.
How about this one?
Do you remember, Marco? You know everything, remember? Remember, Marco? You know everything.
This is like, that's like Peter's tone when he's trying to be like intimidating and he's like trying to do it in like this coy, playful way, you know?
Come on, Marco, fuck him.
It's endless. It's endless. Okay.
As being something not to be involved in, which...
Oh, lack of retail sales, tool scam. Is that on here? Retail. I don't see it. I don't have that. Wow. Okay, I'll keep an eye on this.
I would agree with that. You know, as long as the company doesn't have the retail sales and has a tool scam, I would agree with that. Now, if those two things are not there, I'd say, hey, you know, there could be other issues, but I would definitely give it consideration if I was you. You know, if those two things were in good shape. So, anyway, you know, that's kind of
what up, Susie? Susie says, OMG, the semantic arguments from MLMers are so exhausting. Yeah, I mean, this is just a different variation. Remember, the best example of this that I've ever seen was when I debated Dominic Izzo, and he said, there's a difference between a scheme and a scam. Social selling and affiliate marketing.
That you want him to do you so much you could do anything.
So true.
what was going on in the industry, and so Marco made a video, and the title of his video is something to the effect of two massive MLMs failed. Well, they didn't really fail. They're just going to direct sales. I do think their sales are going to go down quite a bit.
Oh, Bad Dog, you like this sound effect? Hold on.
Fuck yeah, you stupid fucking asshole. Fuck yeah.
Oh, I have it twice on here. I need to replace one of those. Thank you for that.
And we'll see what happens. And I did some, you know, quick research, nothing in depth, but both these companies did not have a lot of information as far as what their revenue is. And I was a little bit surprised because, and of course, Rodan and Fields is a pretty well-known company, but apparently they've been doing around $1 billion to $1.5 billion, at least in recent years. Now, maybe one of the reasons they...
Wait, we froze? The same shit they've been... Did we freeze? Are we good? Hold on. What the hell? Why everybody's saying, oh no, in the chat? Burger Baron, here's my goon tags. I want to go on LFR. Pretend I don't know who they are. Thank you for that. Why are y'all saying, oh no, in the chat? No, he froze. We're back. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even see a freeze on my end. Please marry me, Marco. Got you. Thank you, Ethan. Okay. Weird. I froze for a little bit. Okay. Do I need to go back a little? What do we last see? I've been saying for years how to get the... Here we go. Wait, we don't know who they are. Sorry about that, y'all. Hopefully it's good on the replay. Mr. DJ Samponda replay. What does it mean?
Because And of course, Rodan and Fields is a pretty well-known company, but apparently they've been doing around $1 billion to $1.5 billion, at least in recent years. Now, maybe one of the reasons they decided to go to direct sales model is because they took a pretty big step backwards. But that's a pretty good size MLM, on the order of $1 billion to go to direct sales. The only other example that we have of a company that's that big that did that was Advocare, and they basically agreed after the FTC came out.
Okay, I'm going on 1.25 speed.
For them back in 2019 to do that. They also paid a $150 million fine, and the owners agreed never to be involved in MLM again. And, there's other things going on with Advocare as well. But that's a pretty good-sized company. But the other one, Saint, and you spell it S-E-I-N-T, I've seen different numbers online. I went to Ted's website. I think he quoted something like $12.5 million. I saw another website that was talking about $18 million a year. Another website was $168 million a year. So I don't know exactly the size of Saint, but I would not call that massive. If it was several $1 million, that's.
Ooh, got him. Got him. Always stupid Marco alert. That's the first thing. That's the first big gotcha moment, is that he wouldn't classify Saint as a massive MLM. And the title of my stream was 2 massive MLMs just died. Therefore, I'm always stupid. Because a company that makes tens of millions of dollars and a company that makes $1 billion both couldn't be considered massive. I think if there's a scam where somebody is where people have cumulatively lost $1 million and it's a scam, I think that's a massive scam. That's a lot of money.
It's not a massive MLM like Marco claimed it was.
Got me.
I doubt he knows any of these numbers. He's just trying to, make headlines and get eyeballs, and that's why he uses this language. And of course, he had no idea why they decided to make this change.
Saint, I've seen bigger MLM. Yeah, okay, he got me. That I'll count that as a flat out wrong. That's basically flat out wrong.
If you would have asked him, point blank, well, Marco, you and your hero Robert FitzPatrick, you guys talk about saturation. So do you think these companies saturated, and that's why they had to back up into direct sales? Like a $12 million company had to drop MLM because they were saturated. It's just crazy stuff. These people that have these crazy notions.
No, I mean, I did a whole stream explaining why I think those companies are no longer doing MLM, and that wasn't one of the reasons. So when he says, "Oh, it's crazy," these people that have crazy notions. Well, you just made that up. I never said that. And as a matter of fact, we'll look into some more of the reasons why these companies are changing tact later on when we look at this email that the Grand Wizard Robert FitzPatrick sent me.
And then when something like this happens, their thoughts completely fall apart as far as why a company, makes this change. They have nothing to say, other than patting themselves on the back. Usually, we made this change. Us anti-MLM Huns, we made them. We pressured them into doing this. So,
damn, we're crushing it already. Return to talking about Marco. Flat out wrong. Scott spends a long time on a short story. Tool scam, he said. Caught in an obvious lie, which is attributing words to me that I never said. We already predicted what they're going to talk about. Anti-MLM Huns, he just said that. So we're getting close to a bingo, guys.
It's just kind of nuts. And also, I just have to mention, Peter, another thing he mentions on this video is he says he wants to get back to talking about us some more. So I wanted to give him a little bit of, information here that he can use, because he used to roll his eyeballs when I said tool scams and retail sales. And I don't think he's smart enough to pick up on it, because he is really stupid. But this perfectly fits these companies doing these changes. Whereas the whole saturation theory holds no water. It just doesn't make any sense for these companies making these changes. So anyway, he said he's going to start talking about us again. I think he's lonely. I think he misses us, Peter. Plus, he's not getting very many views. We know that in the past when he's talked about us, he gets a lot more money. He gets more people watching his videos. So we're definitely, keeping him alive, so to speak. just enough to keep him broke, though, right? Because he's getting sued by all these MLMs, and he has to pay the lawyers. So he's getting just a fraction of what he needs to pay off his lawyers, not to mention just to live, his living expenses. And so he's going to be apparently talking about it some more, which is interesting because most of the people who are now watching his videos have not been around very long, so they don't even know who we are. You know, we're just a couple names. They don't know all the history of our interactions.
Yes, they do. First of all, no, they're not. Yes, they do. And also, he doesn't realize that him saying most of the people watching him now are new implies that I've gained new fans, which would contradict their long-standing claim that my channel is dying, nobody's watching me anymore, I'm going homeless, blah, blah, blah. But we love it. We love it.
With Marco. And so he's going to have to teach them, you know, from the ground up what's going on with us and him. But, you know, the reason we pick on him, number one, he's a jerk, and he was pretty nasty towards both of us, particularly you. And I won't go into those details again because we've done that before. But he's just a great example of an anti-MLM Hun and how clueless he is. You know, how he just reveres the whole Robert FitzPatrick saga. And I haven't looked at FitzPatrick's website. I don't know if he's commented on these two MLMs going to direct sales, but I've seen probably 3 or 4 videos similar to DeMarco's, you know, where they talk about these 2 companies going to direct sales from MLM and what their thoughts. And their thoughts are not very deep or correct, but that's what MLM Huns do. They put out garbage and emotion and not very much fact. So anyway, I'll stop there. I could go on. I'll let you make some further comments.
Excellent. Well, a couple of things about Marco. Number one, we can say his last name is Marco Mukhaber, Moukhaber. Look him up. For those people that want to look him up, you'll see that he's being sued by. So if he's playing our radio show on his video, now you know his last name, and now you know the name of the most recent company that has sued him into oblivion. There was a couple of things that you had mentioned as well that I just remembered since you mentioned Robert FitzPatrick. Robert FitzPatrick was the moderator on some of the Herbalife people on stage on the movie Betting on Zero. So if you want to see that, you'll be able to see him. And I think the way that happened, the way he describes it himself, and I could be wrong here, so I might be wrong, but I don't think I am, is there was supposed to be another moderator who backed out at the last minute, and then Robert FitzPatrick filled in. So he did Bill Ackman a favor. So you'll see Robert FitzPatrick on Betting on Zero, based on the default, if you will, the person they really wanted not being able to make it. So
yeah,
another couple of things.
Peter, I think that was, I want to say it was Connie Chung.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
It was a well-known media person. It was a very well-known name.
So funny. They are right about one thing. They are right about having to pay for certain things. I actually got an email from my lawyer not yesterday, the day before yesterday, with he forwarded me a bill that had to be paid right that moment that I was not expecting, and it was for a little more than $500. Which is definitely not fun. You know, it's not fun. But you know, this is I'm planning on maybe doing a stream about Logan Paul CoffeeZilla and their lawsuit.
The Pickle dropped a BAG $10
Pickle.
pawn
Wow.
super chat. Just to get M to cry more. Such salty tears.
Thank you for that, the Pickle. Appreciate you. I might do a video talking about the Logan Paul suing CoffeeZilla thing, because it's really sad that in Canada and the US, you can be sued for doing good journalism just because powerful people with money have the option. You know, you can sue over a ham sandwich. You can sue for anything. You can sue anyone for anything at any time if you have the money. And the odds are in your favor if you have the money, because the people who are being wrongfully sued generally can't afford to pay out of their own pocket to fight these powerful people. So they have to take bad deals, settlements that often include like their permanent silence, because they're scared. You know, they don't want to go bankrupt forever. So they were just trying to do the right thing. And with me, you know, I've worked out like a pretty clever situation, in my opinion, where I'm not too worried about it. You know, like, don't get me wrong, it's still expensive as fuck, and it still sucks. But I don't know, man. I just feel like now is the time to not worry about it. You know, I'm still young. I can start from zero and build it back up if I need to. And I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. I was walking. Isn't it interesting how when you walk, it like lubricates your brain and you think clearer when you're walking. It's like meditative. And I was walking, I was thinking like when we were kids, every movie and every, TV show and every storybook and every, the adults, the things that they taught us was like about spreading kindness and making the world a better place and being a good person. And as we get older, I think we forget that because we need money and we get distracted by money and we have worries that often center around money. And you know, the things that were told to us as kids as being the most important things, like helping people and being kind and making the world a better place, those things sort of fall by the wayside because we're busy trying to get money, because we have bills to pay. And it becomes like you have no choice almost but to become a selfish person to a degree because you have bills to pay and you have to provide. And I'm thinking like, at this stage in my life, you've heard me say before, I'm not married, I don't have children. If I had children, I would be, again, focused on trying to get the bag.
I got to get the bag.
So that I could feed the kids, so that the kids can grow up and they can go to school and they can get married and they can have kids so that they can worry about money. And it's like, damn, how many generations of people have came and went just like getting by, trying to make enough money to create more people so that those people can grow up and struggle to make more people and blah, and meanwhile nobody's actually doing the thing that we were told was the most important thing, which is trying to make the world a better place when you leave it than when you entered it. And I don't know, man, I'm just like, look, man, if I max out the credit cards and the debtors come after me, maybe I'm in another country, come get me. If I spend every penny on the lawsuits and I have to, I can't afford to pay it, and some court in some country says, hey, you owe this much money and I can't afford to pay it, I'll file for bankruptcy. Come get it. I don't know, man. My perspective has totally shifted from like, I don't know, what's really going to happen to you? What is really going to happen to you? It would be probably pretty dramatic if somebody actually came along to kill you. I don't think that is going to happen unless it's like a very it's very big, you know. But this is going to happen if you're fucking with the money. If you're messing with the money of powerful people, there's going to be consequences. I don't feel bad for myself that I have to pay, that I get a bill from my lawyer and he's saying like, oh, $500 has to get paid right now for some shit from a couple months ago, some filing, whatever. I can't even talk about it. But I don't feel bad for myself, I just think this is like, this is part of it, Didn't y'all watch Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire? Didn't y'all see Spider-Man 2? Am I delusional? I think I am delusional because I'm living in this world. I'm living in this like mindset. I'm living in this mind state where you actually should do the right thing and you should accept that bad things are going to happen to you if you try to do good against evil people. Imagine Spider-Man being like, oh yeah, I went out to be Spider-Man today and I was trying to stop a bank robbery, but then the bank robbery, the robbers shot at me and one guy punched me. I'm not doing this anymore. He wouldn't be Spider-Man. So imagine me sitting here being like, oh, I'm getting sued. It's like, bro, I'm sorry. To the MLM companies that want to silence me by suing me or threatening me or whatever, just know I get messages every day from people telling me honestly and earnestly and emotionally and powerfully how I've helped them or how MLM has negatively impacted them and how they, are rooting for me. you're never gonna, the DMs I get from people are, it's like in Spider-Man 2 when Spider-Man gets beaten up by Doc Ock and his mask comes off and he's on the train and there's that scene with all the civilians on the train seeing Spider-Man's face and they're like, Joey Diaz is there for some reason and they're like, he's just a kid, no older than my son, and they're like, we got you, Spider-Man, we won't tell anybody, da-da-da-da. That's how I feel about it, to be honest. So my resolve is strong, and I think I'm maybe a bit deluded myself because I'm thinking I'm living in this idealistic, version of reality where I think that you should do.
DTI donated 10 Canadian dollars.
Thank you for that. I'm living in this like. Thank you for that. Thumbs up the ting, by the way. 200 people watching, only 100 likes. Thank you, DTI, for the dono. I'm watching. I'm living life. I'm walking through life. Looking at things as like, when bad things happen to you, you should try to do your part to make sure they don't happen to anyone else. And that happened to me. I lost my best friend to an MLM. He was brainwashed. He changed. He cut me off because I was a negative thinker and a hater and a dream stealer, and I didn't believe in him. And you're just like everyone else. And they told me you would say that. And I was one of the people who, oh, they just don't get it. They're going to be stuck in the matrix forever, And I lost my best friend from that, and it didn't feel good. And I made this video about World Financial Group 4 years later, in 2019, and I found out that there was millions of other people who had had this experience, and there wasn't just WFG, there was countless companies that people were going through this same type of thing.
You'll see Robert FitzPatrick on
and whoops, sorry about that. And I just thought, it's you have a responsibility to do the right thing when you can. If you can do the right thing, if you can help people, I think you should help people. Is there really 420 people watching right now? Thumbs up the ting if you're watching, if you're one of the 420 people watching.
Thumbs up the ting.
Definitely. I don't know if that's a glitch or what, but yeah, I don't know. I just think they killed Batman's parents. And I know people would tell me like, oh, Batman isn't real, so whatever. But I don't know, man. The principle I think still stands. If if bad things happen to you, thank you,
Anonymous donated 10 Canadian.
Maybe bad things happen to you and you're going to use that to justify becoming a bad person because you're going to think, life wronged you and so now you need to take your revenge on the world. I don't know. I don't think that. I think if something bad happens to you, you also have the choice to do something good about it. And so, yeah, it is shitty when these things happen. It is shitty when I get sued. It's shitty when, evil lawyers are saying that I'm, telling lies about me, saying that I did this and that they're going to do this and that to me. And it's shitty when I get an email from my lawyer being like, yeah, here, I need this bill paid right now. It's $500 and some dollars. It's like, when I just paid rent and I'm trying to pay off the credit card debt that I accrued from having to go back to Canada a few months ago, which I'm still not allowed to tell you why I had to go back, but it was an order that I had to go back. That cost me a lot of money to fly back because I'm so far away right now from my safety. Then I had to spend an equal amount of money to fly back here. The whole time, mind you, I'm paying rent here. And for almost 3 months while I was in Canada, I was paying rent for a place that I wasn't actually living in. And then I come back here and I'm like working to pay it off. It's going good. We're streaming. We're making videos again. I'm editing. Like I'm getting locked in again. And I'm paying off the credit card. I'm paying the bills. And it's like the same day I pay my rent. I put $500 on the credit card. I'm like, let's go, feeling good. And my lawyer, boom, I need $500 for this. It's like, come on, man. But hey, like I said, man, this is the path I chose. And I don't have like I said, I'm not married. I don't have children, and I just think you should do the right thing. It's the right thing to do to try to help people. And when bad people say, "Hey, you're fucking with our scam money," fuck them. Fuck them. Where's the
Come on, Marco, fuck them.
exactly. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support, you guys watching. I've got another infiltrating a pyramid scheme video that I'm working on, that I've been working on actually since January of 2023, working on and off. And I haven't been working on it consistently the whole time because I've had, as you know, over the past year, behind the scenes issues that I'm dealing with. But even those I'm optimistic about. I just think if I can keep myself alive and keep going and keep the lights on, which is honestly, it's because of y'all. I think we'll be good. I think we will be able to make the world a better place, you know. Bobby, thank you for the dono. He says, my dad flushed a lot of money off 10 years ago with ACN while he was also getting audited, divorced, and '08 crisis hit. These people thrive on the misfortune. Yes, absolutely. They take advantage of people who are vulnerable or in desperate situations, and it's shitty. It's scamming. Thumbs up the stream, y'all. I think there's there's got to be some glitch going on because it says there's 1,300 people watching. It's been like spiking. There was like 400. It was at 200, then it went to 4, then 5, then like immediately jumped to 8. Now it's at 1,354 from what I'm seeing. But I think it's fake because if these were real, and I said, "Hey, thumbs up the stream, click like on the stream," there wouldn't only be 127 likes. So I don't know. Maybe somebody's hitting my channel with fake viewers, in an attempt to like report. I've seen this happen before where somebody will send like a bunch of fake followers. They'll pay to have a bunch of fake followers follow an account, and then they'll report that account for being fraudulent. And then when Instagram reviews that account, they see a bunch of bots following it. They think it's a fake account. So maybe this is an attempt to sabotage my YouTube channel by hitting me with an influx of bots and then reporting the video for like suspicious activity. I don't know. But there's no way that 1,400 people are watching and I only have 130 likes on it. It just doesn't make sense. Hey, if you're not, hey, all you 1,300 people, if you're not bots, thumbs up the thing. Brianna Banana says, brand new to your channel, just finished watching your interview with Julie and saw you were live. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I'm going to have to go read your comments later because it's going too fast for me to... I'm reading your comments. Susie says, seems like MLMs often foster a sense of disdain and contempt towards any non-MLMer, which over time many participants struggle to hide because it's contagious. Marco, have you noticed this? Yeah, I mean, they all have this like sense of piety, like we're better than everybody else. They're not, you know, we're awakened to the truth and everybody else is in the matrix. Everybody else is a zombie, which is so ironic because they're the ones who have literally become zombified and turned into robots. Yes, superiority complex, 1,000%. I mean, think about it. These people literally think, especially when people like Ray Higdon invoke God in their speeches and they talk about, you know, God called me on this path towards helping other people to become entrepreneurs. It's like if you're literally claiming that you are doing God's work. You're literally claiming that you're on a mission for God. Like what's a higher authority than that? Nothing. So these people literally think that they're doing God's work when actually they're doing the devil's work. I'm not a religious person. I'm not too familiar with the Bible, but I know that there's a quote in the Bible that says something like, in the end times, evil will be called good and good will be called evil, something like that. And that's how you know, that's where doublespeak comes in. I did a whole video on that. That's where doublespeak comes in. Or I guess I should say a stream on that. Because, actually, fuck it, no, I did a video on that. My most recent video, exposing the big lie of multi-level marketing. That's where doublespeak comes in. That's how you can justify evils. You know, call what you're doing the opposite of what it is. Say that you're helping people to become entrepreneurs when in reality what you're doing is scamming people into a pyramid scheme. I don't think the 1K viewers is real, y'all. I don't know where it comes from or what's going on. Maybe there's some huge channel with 1 million subscribers that's live right now and they're sending people over here. But look, all the viewers in the chat, it's the same people that were watching before. and the number of likes hasn't increased. So I don't think it's real. I really don't think it's real. Hey, any of you 1,300 people that joined, if you're real, thumbs up the stream. That's so weird, right? Now it says 964 people. Anyways, I'm going to continue. Let's continue with this episode here. But anyways, sorry for my rant. I just wanted to make the point. Scott and Peter saying like, oh yeah, he's staying broke and whatever, whatever. The beauty of it is even if everything they said about me was true, it wouldn't deter me from continuing to do this because I believe in this and I know it's genuinely helping people. That's what's important. And at the same time, you know, they want to talk about me being broke. Like I said before, if every person who subscribes to me donated $1, it'd be like a life-changing amount that I would be able to like do so much good with and fight with. So all you 1,000 people that are watching, if you haven't dropped your $1 yet, you know, Streamlabs link in the chat. It's the pinned comment. And if half the people who subscribed to me donated $2, it'd be the same thing. And if a quarter of the people, or if a fifth of the people donated $5, you get my point. Okay, let's see. Jared, what up, Jared? I've seen it before. It's an issue YouTube has been having for a while now. It randomly happens. Yeah, there was no way that there was that many people watching. I've had that many viewers before, and I knew it was genuine. Like right after I put out a big video, and I'm gonna do a debate or something. But that's not real. Thank you, Brianna. Shu Murphy, been a member for 5 months and writes in the text plus 1,000 USD. So funny. Thank you, Susie. All right, let's continue with these goofballs.
On zero, based on the default, if you will, the person they really wanted not being able to make it. So
yeah,
another couple of things.
Peter, I think that was, I want to say it was Connie Chung.
I think you're right.
But it was a well-known media person. It was a very well-known name. You know, people would recognize that. But I believe it was Connie Chung, and she backed out. We don't know why. Maybe she didn't want to get caught up in the controversy. You know, we don't know. But yeah, you're right. I forgot about, you know, Robert sort of being the backup person to do that moderating. It was in the movie, and also it's on. I think it was in the movie, but it's also on Bill Ack.
Yeah, there's no way that that wasn't a glitch. That had to be a glitch, because there's no way 1,000 people are tuning in to watch me talk about Scott and Peter after 8 months. And also, fuck, I already know that they're gonna be on their next episode. Like, yeah, Marco gets the most viewers when he talks about us because we have a lot of fans. He had over 1,000 people watching his last stream about us. That must mean that we're really important. And he's trying to say that it was a glitch. 1,000% they're going to say that on the next stream.
His website about Herbalife, and it's really an interesting interview. I'll let you go on. I might come back to the interview because it's really interesting.
Sure.
What up, Grace? Thank you.
The other couple of things is related to people like in the anti-MLM world. They're really running out of content.
Thank you, Bright Balloon. Appreciate you for the dono. Thank you for that.
To people like in the anti-MLM world, they're really running out of content. It's basically the same story over and over and over again. And then when they see things like that company Saint and the company like Rodan and Fields.
What up, Even Stevens? Why are you unsending messages? What did you write? Also, so funny them talking about anti-MLMers running out of content. These guys have been doing a show about me for the last 3 years. Thank you, Brianna Banana.
Changing their business models. They basically read a headline and make up their own version of their own stories for their either 50 or 1 hour and 50-minute videos that they usually have a tendency of playing. And we'll pick on Marco, but there's other ones out there as well. And some of their arguments sound good if you turn your brain off. So like the stories that they talk about are just retarded, and you can tell that they're just making stuff up as they go along. And many of them are college graduates of the college MSU. It's called the Make Shit Up. That doesn't stand for Mississippi State University or Michigan State. MSU for most of these anti-MLMers is they're making shit up as they go along. So they make up whatever they make up. If you get a chance, and Scott, I know you didn't watch this one yet because it just got posted, but Donna Marie Saratella, who is an MLM compliance gal, to give her a little plug. She's got a domain name, directsellingsolutions.com. So Donna Marie's been around MLM and compliance for a real long time. She started to do some podcasts. She had a gal named, I think it's
Hot Meat Kettle, exactly. Also, him saying that their arguments sound good if you shut your brain off because, again, call the opposite true. Call what you're doing the opposite of what it is if you want to trick people. MLM arguments sound good if you shut your brain off, not anti-MLM arguments. Again, just say the opposite of the truth. And MSU, make shit up university. He thought he was so clever with that one. Again, it's these guys who make up everything.
Deborah. She was supposed to have Sandra, but she had Deborah there. And Deborah was part of the New York company, still is, as they were going through their FTC lawsuit, which, by the way, they won against the FTC. And she did a really brilliant...
It's not just you, Susie. MLMers literally do use every argumentative fallacy in the book. It is a fact. They are taught by professionals, people who scam and deceive for a living professionally, to dance around and not ask questions directly and answer questions with questions and do semantic games and say, well, what do you mean by this and what do you mean by that? Remember when I did the debate with that guy, Febby Francois?
Steven_Stevens just dropped a bag 25 Canadian dollars. They both can suck my dick.
That's so funny. Thank you, Even Stevens. Why is it so much funnier to me when girls say suck my dick than when guys do it? You never see a guy say, like, eat my puss, you know? But when girls say suck my dick, it's so funny to me. I love it. Thank you for that. Appreciate you, Even Stevens. He stole the joke from somewhere. What up, Bad Dog? I'm so tired, but I can't help but watch this. I missed these streams. Well, I'm glad we're doing it. And so are 1,300 other billions and billions of people watching. Apparently, yeah. Apparently, we're going viral with this one. Remember when I did that debate with Febby Francois, the guy from World Financial Group? And I mentioned during our debate, I mentioned the book Ponzinomics, and he's like, great book. And I was like, have you read it? He's like, no. I'm like, okay.
Interview with Donna Marie Saratella about what it was like to be sued by the FTC.
Marco has called them out directly during debates and names the fallacies they use in real time. Then they just use a new fallacy in response.
Interview with Donna Marie Saratella about what it was like to be sued by the FTC through it's a 7-year battle that they went through based on a whole bunch of other issues as well. If you watch that video, and I'm not just talking to Scott.
He skimmed the book, to be fair. How do we know?
But I'm talking about anybody else who's listening. And if you listen to what she says about what Niora went through and how they were basically saved because they were doing a lot of the right things, you would probably have a better explanation of why these two companies may have. Again, I'm not part of those companies, so I don't know why they did, but they may have made the decision based on the things that Niora was able to defend, but maybe these other two companies wouldn't. So a lot of it had to do with retail sales. Now, I would imagine that Rodan and Fields, which, by the way, is a huge company outside of MLM, probably has a ton of retail customers. I mean, they make Proactive, and they're $1 billion company at least every single year, and I'm sure they're still doing a lot of business as it may. But they made a decision that they were going to basically say, listen, we're going to stop the MLM stuff. Anybody who's selling the product will still be able to earn a commission. And what all of these MLM, anti-MLM YouTubers can't figure out is how it would be devastating, like seriously devastating, to anybody in the upper echelons when that decision was made. And they all say stupid stuff because they have never been successful. I'll point out they may have been in, but they have never been successful in an MLM. Because if they were successful in an MLM or a direct sales management company where they were in the higher levels, they would realize that if a company changes, they think that recruiting is a bad thing because you make more money on the sales of the products your recruits sell than the stuff that you personally sell, and they say that's a weakness in MLM. And
thank you, Guy Incognito. Appreciate you.
It just really highlights how stupid people say really stupid things, enter Marco, and then somewhat smart-sounding people say stupid things, and I'm not going to mention their names because they're gals, and I'm not going to pick on the gals, but there's a lot of gals that say somewhat stupid things who appear, based on the way they speak, to sound knowledgeable about whatever it is that they're speaking about, and they have no clue what they're talking about. I'll use as an example specifically with the direct sales company that I was with, my specific situation, just as an example. When I was with Electrolux, which was a direct sales company, they did introduce a network marketing compensation plan. So let's imagine that I'll stay stuck in that mode Like if that was like, if you think of that like a gear on a 10-speed bicycle, let's call that 8th gear. So let's say we get stuck at Electrolux when they were in their MLM.
Peter talks about Electrolux. Beyond, you're getting a bingo before me, guaranteed. Guaranteed you're getting this bingo before me.
Rain just dropped a bag 25 Canadian dollars. Can't wait for your RIP WFG video?
I can't wait for that either.
Thumbs up the team.
I also can't wait for that.
I got to get the bag.
Unfortunately, WFG is still alive and kicking. And that's a real shame because they shouldn't be. They are a scam. They are a pyramid scheme, in my humble opinion. And, you know, you and I are not part of the club. I did this in my video talking about WFG's enforcement action. Actually, sorry, the video is called My Mayor is Promoting a Pyramid Scheme. That's the video on my channel. And it is about how WFG got an enforcement action from the FSRA. This is the Financial Regulatory Authority in Canada. And what happens? They just pay fines. Pay fines, keep it pushing. It's easier than it's easier than the government taking them to court, using their limited Canadian government resources to take the company to court and battle it out when the company has millions, if not billions of dollars to be able to afford the most expensive lawyers. They literally have more money to spend on a case probably than the government does. Canada's not that big, bro. Canada has like a population of like, what, 33, 35 million people? It's like 1/10 of the United States. So, I don't know, man. It's just not, you and I are not part of the club.
Compensation.
But thank you for that, Dono. That means a lot. I appreciate it. Uh-oh, who's this? Thomas?
Thomas just dropped a bag 34 Canadian dollars and 33 cents. I'm paying my fine, my goon tax.
I got to get the bag. Let's go.
Marco.
Thank you for that, Thomas. That means a lot, bro. Consider your goon tax paid in full, my friend. At least until the next stream when it restarts back to 0, you know? I'm not going to pick on the gals literally called Julia Nutjob. To be fair, that was Scott, not Peter, who called Julia Nutjob. I'm calling out all the bingo items for people playing at home. Thank you, Beyond. Broke back, buddy. WFG Part 4 is one of my favorites. Hey, Stollery Bear, say WFG is a pyramid scheme. Dude, WFG Part 4, the fact that it had like 50K views and it was on a run, and then I had to delete it and re-upload it because of the privacy complaint made by Dan the Man that I wasn't able to dispute for some reason, is such bullshit. You know, I didn't do anything wrong. In Canada, we have one-party consent. Me and that guy were in a public place. I didn't reveal anything but his first name and show him. There was literally no justification for a privacy complaint to have that video taken down, but I know that video would have way more views if I didn't have to re-upload it. That's honestly, like, in terms of in-person confrontations, it's got to be my best video. That's like an entirely in-person. I love that video, man. Shout out my boy Jesse for filming that for me, by the way.
They had something called Superlink. Nobody knows about it because it was out there before the internet was really big. So anyway, so having said that, I was a division manager. Let's get stuck there. Even though I went higher as an area VP, I ran 96 different offices. Let's just get stuck in 8th gear when I was running a division of 5 other offices. I ran my own office in Bayside, Queens. I had some offices in Queens, 1 or 2 on Long Island, and then a couple of satellites in other places as well. But let's just say that. And I was in the higher income level.
Grace, woman, dumb, me, smart, direct sale, smart man. What up, Danny? I'm back only because Scott and Peter are back. Why not just be back? Why not just be back? No, I'm just playing. Good to see you. Appreciate you.
Level for that company, which was anywhere between $150,000 and $250,000 a year. So that's where my income level was at. Well, if the company, meaning Electrolux, all of a sudden decided, for whatever reason, they were going to stop the compensation paid by the recruits or the branches or whatever, the overrides that I was getting from everybody else, that would have been devastating to, I guess, me personally, especially if they came out with and they said, oh, we're going to do this in 2 months. I'd say, oh, wait a minute, I gave my whole entire life for this and that. Is not what I signed up for. But then also they don't realize that, you know, in some of these companies, and here's the point that I'm going to mention for those clueless people that are out there when they talk about, you know, where you're making your money on recruiting. I used to sell vacuum cleaners And they had shampooers, of course, and ancillary products associated with that, like shampoo for the shampooers and bags for the vacuum cleaners and parts for the repairs that we'd need for both of them. But I didn't do it for the ego. It wasn't like I was impressing people when I said, hey, I'm a vacuum cleaner sales manager. I didn't do it for the ego or the resume builder part. I did it mostly for the money. If the money wasn't there, I wouldn't do it. And if you, talking to, stupid Marco or anybody else that's a stupid anti-MLM YouTuber, if you think that it didn't take a shit ton of talent, a crap load of work, I mean, it was all consuming. And if you think that it was easy to get that upper level, like you talk about these upper level people as if they're scam artists and basically lazy and just taking advantage of a whole bunch of people, like you have no clue. And the reason is, again, one of my first issues is because, number one, you have no talent. Number two, and I can prove that, because if you had talent, you wouldn't be saying the things you say. Number two is you never did it before, so you don't know what it's like, and therefore you're going to comment like a washwoman about things you've never done before. And number three, to go slamming these people.
Again, you don't need to have been in an MLM to know that it's a scam.
As if they were.
You don't need to smoke cigarettes to know they're bad for you.
Just like scamming people because they were at the top of the food chain is absolutely irresponsible and completely identifies your level of incompetence. So if you're at the top and then all of a sudden the company says, we're going to switch it out and you're only going to get paid on personal sales, you might say, what the hell? This isn't what I signed up for. I signed up to develop leaders. I signed up to develop sales teams. I signed up and successfully did this, and I was compensated for it accordingly based on the compensation plan. So it is rather tragic when Rodan and Fields shuts down their MLM, and Saint and maybe some other companies do the same thing to those upper level people, albeit there's not many of them. We're not talking about hundreds of thousands of people. We're not going to see like a major crash in the economy because this happens. But for those select few, they certainly did some probably unbelievable things to be able to earn those top echelon positions. And Scott, that's why when always stupid Marco Mukaber does his stupid videos about a massive MLM company that's shutting down and then fills up the next hour with his garbage coming out of his mouth. It just is just so revealing of how bad the anti-MLM crowd really is. Because they've never done it before, you didn't hit those levels, and if you did, you certainly couldn't say the stupid things that you said. So back to you, Scott.
Yeah, all good points, Peter.
All good points, Peter. That should be on the bingo list too. All good points, Peter. The audio sounds like it's from hell.
And I, point out too, when you were with Electrolux, most of the vacuum.
Thank you, Bad Dog, for the compliment about the jacket I was wearing in the WFG Part 4 video. Appreciate that. WFG Part 4 is one of my favorites. Hold on, I'm reading your comments. I'm back because Marco's back. We hear from Marco. Thank you, Burger Baron and Susie. So true, so correct. We call that loyal goons, we call them. Just got deja vu. Marco talking about his cousins and Roblox while Peter talks. Never mind, I forgot they talk gibberish and make no sense. Okay, bye, Danny. It was good to see you again.
Vacuums that you sold were to customers, not to your salespeople. And to me, that's a big difference between how I view most MLMs and what you did. And that is a very...
Rain, my cousin has been working 50 hours this week for $0 an hour recruiting. Yay for financial freedom. Yay! We're all going broke, yay!
Major difference.
He's a New York guy. No talent? Marco, you are so intelligent and killing it with this. Thank you. Who said I have no talent? Oh, they did. This audio is from their Building Fortunes Radio most recent episode. I just downloaded it and re-uploaded. I trimmed it because it was way too long, of course, and I had to mute out a couple things.
But we talked, in previous weeks about what you mentioned as well.
Thank you, Bad Dog, for the compliment.
As far as making more money from what your downline is producing versus what you're personally producing with your own personal sales. That's just nuts
on the bingo.
To think that that's wrong. I mean, you can go to any company, non-MLM company, and I can guarantee you, the manager or the vice president or, whatever.
Great point, Even Stevens. He was in the Navy but never deployed, so is he even a soldier? I'm sure he would get mad at you for that. By the way, this audio...
I took a full load.
Of Scott saying I took a full load is from the one episode where he's talking about his experience in the Navy, working on some ship and loading. I don't know. He was doing some sort of like stocking or loading of something, hot water. I don't even remember.
whatever level you want to talk about, upper level parts of a company, they make their money not as directly as an MLM, where there's, a compensation plan and all these kinds of direct relationships, but they get paid more money because they're responsible for their organizations, for the training, the motivation, the organization, the prioritization, all these different.
Guy Incognito sums it up perfectly with Scott. Both the pro and anti-MLM guys say stupid things. Both sides are wrong. I'm the reasonable guy in the middle. No, you're a weak weasel scammer. So true.
Things that I'm sure you did with Electrolux is done in a normal company as well, a non-MLM, non-direct sales company. And if you get into sales organizations for non-MLM companies, there is quite a bit of a relationship between how your sales teams do, like on a quarterly basis, maybe a monthly basis.
By the way, if I really wanted to, as Peter says, drop the boom, if I really wanted to drop the boom on this motherfucker Peter Mingles, I can't even say this. I know secrets about Peter from somebody close to him in his personal life who was doing research on him and found my videos, because I have so many videos that are, streams titled Peter Mingles, Scott Johnson and Peter Mingles, whatever. And that person reached out to me, and the stuff that they shared with me about how awful a person Peter really is in real life, it would be so devastating, not only to them, but to us as well, because if I revealed what I actually knew about Peter, and I revealed like the messages that I have with this person who's close to him, which I promised not to do. That's why I haven't done it and why I'm not going to do it. But because I don't want to, destabilize that person's life. But if I was really a shameless clout chasing YouTuber, I would just disregard that and do it for the fun of it. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because that's not who I am. But it would also pretty much guarantee that Peter would never talk about me again, because he would finally realize that he fucked around and he found out. And we don't want that, right? We want them to keep this going. We want them to keep talking about me so that we have more fun stuff to react to. But yeah, it's cataclysmic. That's the best word I can use to describe it.
Or an annual basis, and how much you get paid. The better they do selling, the better you do, as a manager, as a vice president, and so it's the same concept, but the big difference again is,
why was someone close to him doing research on him? Well, what I can say without saying too much is this person who was close to him had no idea what he did for work. And every time they asked him, they still ended up more confused than before they asked, even after he answered. So they went about searching on their own to try to figure out if he was telling the truth or if he was some sort of like criminal or something. And that's how they ended up finding my videos and realizing that actually he's just a scammer. So, yeah.
Who is buying the products or services? Is it mostly the employees / distributors, or is it, mostly customers, people who are not part of any compensation for a product being sold? They're just buying it as a customer. And that's, to me, that's the biggest difference. And I've approached numerous of these people over the last few years, and they don't want anything to do with the facts. They're happy with their little stories and their eyeballs rolling and their hands up in the air and, all in a frenzy.
Shocker, the dude who's a piece of shit in public is a piece of shit in private?
Getting those eyeballs on their YouTube channel, being dramatic. And they don't want any part of the facts or reality. They just want to do their thing, which is unfortunate, because if they made these adjustments, easily have a much greater impact than they're having. I'm not saying they're not having any impact. I'm saying they could have much more impact if they would focus on the right stuff. And going back to that interview that Robert FitzPatrick did, the moderating for, he had 4 people there. I think a couple of them were couples. The others were, single people. They were all, I'll call them Native Americans. They weren't Indians. They were people that were born here, right? They were not, people that came in first generation from another country. And so they had the advantage of, at least the opportunity to learn how the United States works and, the regulators and all that kind of thing. And so one of the questions he asked them, which I found very interesting, and this is not statistically significant, but I think it is very much an indication of the lack of knowledge, even of, people that have been here for multiple generations. Because the question he asked them was, did you reach out to the FTC after you lost all this money to Herbalife? And they said, no, it never even occurred to me. There was only one exception to that, and that exception was a woman who said, I think it was her sister, is a lawyer. And she said, my sister told me to contact the FTC. But all four of these people had no idea that the FTC even existed or what it was for. And I think that's pretty common out there, is most people do not do that. And that's something that, I've encouraged all these anti-MLM Huns to do, is to at least mention, to contact the FTC, because it's very easy. You go to ftc.gov. On the front page, it has a link to submit a complaint. It's just a form you fill out online. It's very easy, very straightforward. You can use your name if you want. I recommend that, or you can remain anonymous. But if you use your name and your contact information, that allows the FTC to get back to you if they have additional questions. But that's hardly ever mentioned by these anti-MLM Huns, and I think it should be mentioned at the beginning and the end of every video. Just take 30 seconds.
Bro, what are you talking about, bro?
What you are about to witness is real.
What are you talking about, bro?
They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases.
In all of my biggest videos, we're talking hundreds of thousands of views, and in a particular case, nearly 1 million views in only a matter of a week. In all of those videos, I verbally say that people should report to the FTC. And I stopped doing that. Well, I haven't released a infiltrating a pyramid scheme video since I've done that. But along the way of all of my biggest investigations, I have told people to reach out to the FTC. And I've also made videos explaining why it's more or less futile to do so. You can still do so, but I'm no longer going to encourage people to do so, because the FTC is part of the corruption racket. The FTC is an integral part of the corruption racket of multi-level marketing. And I have a video from 4 months ago called How the FTC Protects Pyramid Schemes. And this is literally about how the FTC protects pyramid schemes. Go figure. And I talk about how political lobbying and the, deep ties between companies like Amway and the U.S. government go back generations, and it's a political game. The world is really just people walking into a room and saying words. That's really what the world is. That's what legal battles are. It's people walking into rooms and saying words. That's what most things are, like with the exception of maybe medicine, which is actually medicine, math, science. A lot of everything is just people walking into a room and saying words. And people are like, oh, well, what about the government? What is the government? The government is made up of people. They're still people. What about institutions? Institutions will protect us. What are institutions? Institutions are people. They're a group of people. And people are flawed. People can have biases. People can be corrupt, There was just a story recently about SCB Bank. This is called Siam Commercial Bank. It's one of the biggest banks in Asia. And there was a massive fraud that was just uncovered. A fraud that's bigger. See if I can find. Okay, this is in Vietnam. SCB, Siam Commercial Bank, was embroiled in the case of billionaire real estate developer Trong My Lan. There's a great video by Cold Fusion about this that you should all watch. I'll post it as a recommendation right now in the Discord so you can watch it. Cold Fusion. I'm going to post this in the Discord so I don't forget. It's called How One Woman Stole 3% of Vietnam's GDP. Yes. It's that serious. Okay, hold on. I'm posting it in the Discord so I don't forget. Bear with me a moment. I'm putting in the recommendations tab. This is an amazing story. Come on, close Discord for fuck's sake. Okay, SCB was embroiled in the case of billionaire real estate developer Trong My Lan, who has been found guilty of $12 billion of fraud. Now, $12 billion is a lot of money, but $12 billion in Asia, where the currency is not as valuable as in America, is infinitely more money. Lan arranged for the merger of 3 smaller banks into SCB and owned 91.5% of shares. So the Cold Fusion video does a better job explaining this than I ever could on a live stream. But it's an unprecedented fraud in Asia. And basically, it was able to continue for so long because of bribery. This woman paid exorbitant bribes to people who couldn't possibly resist them because the amount that she was paying them would have taken them like a lifetime to earn on their own in the job they were doing. So she just paid bribes out like crazy and was able to own 91% of the shares of a bank. Think about that. And I imagine that if that's just being uncovered in 2024, there are probably like the biggest frauds probably haven't even been uncovered yet. I mean, multi-level marketing, that's one of the ones that the official record still says that it's a legitimate industry. But financially speaking, multi-level marketing is the biggest financial fraud of all time. That woman's $12 billion that took her, decades to accumulate. It's being talked about as like an unprecedented case. So much so, the government is taking it so seriously in Vietnam that they actually sentenced her to death. This woman has been sentenced to death for a $12 billion fraud. To put that in perspective, Bernie Madoff was $50 billion. Sam Bankman-Fried was a little bit less. Multi-level marketing does like 20-some billion dollars in the US every single year. It's a $1 trillion industry. It's a $1 trillion fraud that's been going for 100 years and has been, de facto default legal since the 1979 Amway decision. So, bringing it back to Scott's point about how these anti-MLM Huns would be so much better off if they told people to report to the FTC before and at the beginning and the end of their video. Dog, there's probably nobody on this earth that has been responsible for more FTC reports about an individual MLM company than me, based on the fact that back in 2021, I was reporting on an MLM that got, not only did the videos get a lot of views, but the Instagram social media campaign that I was running against this company to expose them for being the pyramid scheme they were, resulted in so many people sending me proof of their reports to the FTC that I actually ended up, a little while later, I did end up corresponding with somebody from the FTC multiple times, doing like Zoom meetings with people from the FTC who reached out to me to ask me about it. And that was like going on 2 years ago now. And what have they done? The FTC is almost useless, almost completely useless, because if they even, let's say you discover a massive fraud, or you put it together a beautiful investigation about a company that's a pyramid scheme, right? You expose an MLM for being a pyramid scheme. It's going to take however many, like first you have to make that so publicized that people actually take it upon themselves to report it to the FTC at such a level that the FTC can't possibly ignore it anymore. And then the FTC has to formally announce that they're doing an investigation. That could take them years. Then they have to formally announce that they're, suing that company for being a pyramid scheme. Now they're in litigation. That could take years. The Neora thing was 7 years long, bro. 7 years. And the FTC ultimately lost because their own specifications and their own rules and their own criteria that they use are so flimsy and so wishy-washy and so undefined that they could actually lose a case. It's truly remarkable how, and use one of these two words interchangeably. You have to assert that either the FTC is so incompetent that they don't know what the fuck is going on, or that they're so corrupt that they do know what's going on and they're either powerless or they just simply don't want to do anything about it. I don't think that the people at the FTC are bad people or that they want people to be scammed and that they don't want to do anything about it. I think, and what's been shown, is that people above the people at the FTC, like the president, are in bed with these companies to the point that the FTC can't do anything about it. While Amway was being investigated in Canada, Jay Van Andel and Richard DeVos, and I have the photo here I can show you guys if you're interested. Jay Van Andel and Richard DeVos were chilling, here we go, in the office with the president. I believe it was President Ford at the time. I have the photo here in one of these folders. I'll pull it up. Here's Gerald Ford and the DeVos bros. Sorry, the DeVos bros. DeVos and Van Andel, the founders of Amway. Let me bring this here. Here they are. There's Gerald Ford. On the left is Jay Van Andel. On the right is Richard DeVos. The guy on the right, Richard DeVos, co-founder of Amway, his son, Richard DeVos Jr., is married to a woman named Betsy DeVos. Betsy DeVos, her brother is Eric Prince, the founder of Blackwater, and her husband is the son of this guy on the right. And she was President Trump's Secretary of Education. Now, what does the wife of the Amway heir and the sister of Blackwater know about education? I would argue nothing. I would argue that she got that position because it was her reward for her family's long-standing political contributions to the Republican Party and, political elbow rubbing and socializing and fraternizing in high society with these people. And even if she doesn't know anything about education, I can certainly see the incentive and the desire for the wife of, the first lady of Amway to be the Secretary of Education, because now you could have Amway sponsored school lunch programs. That way children are, developing this brand familiarity and fondness with the company when they're at their most impressionable age, which would undoubtedly insulate them from any criticism of the company when they got older. Wouldn't that be helpful? Amway career days, Amway sponsored, entrepreneurial courses and workshops. That's how deep it is. It's like MLM is the Illuminati. Amway, you could say, is the Illuminati because every MLM is basically Amway, because the way they operate, the way they're able to operate and claim legality and claim lawfulness is because of Amway. The path that Amway paved with political lobbying and the 1979 Amway decision that basically made MLM legal by default, not because there's any solid rules or laws around it, but because there's a lack of governance around it. It's all Amway. You could if everyone's basic surface level understanding of the Illuminati is a secret society of powerful people who uses their money and connections to exact an agenda of evil onto the world right below all of our noses, and we're all powerless to do anything about it, you're describing Amway. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat here. Rain says, I wonder why they can't, she's referring to MLM distributors here. I wonder why they can't legally mention the company they're working for right away. They're not legally barred from mentioning the company they work with. They're purposely and tactfully not mentioning the company they work with, because if you go and search it up, you're going to have questions and your doubts are going to be raised. They purposely withhold that information from you so they can build rapport with you and gain your trust, because generally if you like the person, that's going to make you much less susceptible to any negative news you might read, because you're going to go, oh, well, I read something on the internet, but that person was really nice and they seem to be doing really well at it and they told me as much. That's a cult information control tactic where they limit the information that doesn't go along with their agenda, and they spew catechisms and propaganda that support their agenda. It has nothing to do with being legally allowed or not. Takes MLMers days to explain / build context before they even say what it is. Yeah, the word context is actually doublespeak that can be translated to deception. Smoke and mirrors. They're not building context. They're allowing smoke to fill the room so that you can't see the scam right in front of you. I wonder if the FTC knows about the tool scam. Or, you know, what they'll do, they'll say, oh, yeah, we're not Amway or we're not World Financial Group. We're partnered with them. Another lie. The FTC sounds like the enabling mother with an abusive husband, and the kids aren't being protected. They're being hurt. That's fair. It's like Harry Markopolos. If you're not familiar with him, he's known as the guy who caught Bernie Madoff. And I listened to his book. I listened to the audiobook version of it. It's called No One Would Listen. I love that fucking title. No One Would Listen. Oh, not lyrics. I don't want a song. No One Would Listen. Here we go. Here's the book. It's called No One Would Listen. And let me bring it up to you. Here. This is the book. No One Would Listen. It's a financial thriller. And this is about how Harry Markopolos, going back as far as the year 2000, was writing letters to the SEC, providing them like fully detailed reports about Bernie Madoff and how he had to be running a Ponzi scheme because his returns that he was getting his investors were mathematically impossible to achieve. And he was like a quantitative analyst, like basically a super math nerd who knew every algorithm to like predict the nature of graphs. And him and his team could never figure out how Bernie Madoff was getting the returns for his investors that he was getting. And so they, using deductive reasoning, figured that it only could be a Ponzi scheme. And so he wrote multiple times to the SEC about Bernie Madoff. And it wasn't until 2011 that something actually happened. And Harry Markopolos was so convinced that the SEC was covering it up, that the corruption went so deep that Bernie Madoff had like control over the SEC, that not only did they receive his report, but they were purposely burying it because Bernie Madoff was so powerful. So this scared Harry Markopolos. And in the book, he talks about like always, every time he would get into the car, he would check underneath for explosives, and he would always carry a gun with him. And he had like a routine where when he would go home, he would like make sure no one was following him. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. And it turned out that, I mean, this is the official story, and this is what the SEC claimed. You know, all of the people who were running the SEC at the time resigned, and there was like a whole shakeup at the SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, for like new leadership, because, you know, you can go watch the tapes online of like Congress ripping apart the SEC commissioners for being so incompetent. And they all claimed like, oh, you know, there was a miscommunication between the departments, and they basically claimed incompetence. And I think Harry Markopolos, for the purpose of like politics, allowed them to go along with this narrative that they were just incompetent. And it also was good for him because they established a whistleblower program after this Bernie Madoff thing, where if you put together, like if you did a similar thing that Harry Markopolos did, the SEC would give you a percentage of the money claimed as like a bounty, as like a reward, if you presented them information that allowed them to like make an arrest and seize fraudulent funds back. They introduced this whistleblower program. So obviously from that point going forward, it was good for Harry Markopolos to be, I guess, on good terms with the SEC. So he allowed them to go along with this statement that they were just incompetent. What do I think? I think that the truth is that they were not incompetent, and that it was very generous for him to allow them to say they were incompetent and to go along with it, because I think the truth is that they were corrupt, and that they were so in Bernie Madoff's pocket, and that he was such a powerful person. Bernie Madoff was at one point the chairman of the NASDAQ. There's an amazing video. It's kind of hard to find, but there's an amazing video of Bernie Madoff. Let me see if I can pull it up. Bernie Madoff, impossible. See if I just search this, if it'll show up. There's a video of Bernie Madoff saying it's virtually impossible. Here we go. It's virtually impossible in today's regulatory environment to commit. Here we go. Virtually impossible to violate the rules. It's certainly not for a considerable period of time. This is from 2007. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to Control F and jump right to the part of the transcript. Here we go. Oh, it's right in the first 5 seconds. I didn't even need to do that. Let me just show you this to show you how absurd the world is that we live in. October 20th, 2007.
You know, in today's regulatory environment, it's virtually impossible to violate rules. When this is something that the public really doesn't understand, and if you read things in the newspaper and you see somebody, you know, violate a rule, you say, well, you know, they're always doing this. But it's impossible for you to go for a violation to go undetected. Certainly not for a considerable period of time. And when you
This is the guy who was, at the moment that he was saying this, running what was the biggest Ponzi scheme in history at that point that people knew about. He was like decades into it at the time that this video was recorded, and he had already been found out and reported to the SEC by Harry Markopolos multiple times by the time he was sitting in that video saying that. That's how insulated he was. That's how brazen and confident he was in his scam continuing. And mind you, he wasn't doing any sophisticated thing. He was just literally putting the money into his bank account. There was like no fancy, like, it wasn't like shell companies and shit like that. People who were Bernie Madoff's investors were giving him a lot of money, and he would type in on a piece of paper, basically on an Excel spreadsheet, him and his boy would type in on a piece of paper, here's how much your portfolio was worth last week. We traded this, and now it's worth this much, and it would go up, and he would send them that piece of paper. That was it. Literally, that was it. There's a great movie called The Wizard of Lies, which we will eventually watch in a Discord movie night. And the whole time, he was just putting the money in his bank account, and for decades, he wasn't found out. Dun, dun, dun. And there he is saying it's virtually impossible in today's regulatory environment to break the rules. Remember that next time you see these people pushing MLMs saying, if we were a pyramid scheme, we would have been shut down by now. These pyramid schemes, we've been around for decades. Do you even know what a pyramid scheme is? A pyramid scheme is where you recruit people and there's no product. Also not true. Every MLM that's ever been shut down for being a pyramid scheme had a product. Go figure. Name one company that was a pyramid scheme that didn't have a product that got shut down for being a pyramid scheme. It's a complete nothing burger of an argument to say that. Oh, we're totally legitimate. Do you think I want you to commit crime? Infinite money glitch if you have zero morals, says the pickle. So true. Eek, says Rain. It's like my cousin buying the insurance from her upline prior to her getting the license. No comment. LOL, Susie. No way. The pickled pepper. Wow, Susie really loved the name The Pickle so much that she became the pickled pepper. Pickle, how you gonna come in here, drop some bag, and start pickling everybody, bro? That's crazy. Grace says, like there isn't a ton of shame around failing or not working hard enough. They condition people to blame themselves. Exactly. I'm reading your guys' comments. Glad they drained the swamp. Facepalm again. Exactly. Drain the swamp. Appreciate you, Brianna. Have a good night. Yeah, I've been going for a long time. We're definitely not going to get to this video, Vince video today, but maybe we'll do it on another stream if you guys want. Not shocking since Trump had a pyramid scheme and his buddy was Robert Kiyosaki. Yep. Look, there are people out here for whatever reason who think I'm like a Trumper. Don't get me wrong. Trump is undoubtedly somebody who has been a scammer. Okay. And there are things I like about Trump as well. You know, people are multi-layered. People are not black and white. But Trump has scammed. Trump did have his own MLM. Trump was a spokesperson for ACN for 10 years. That is a pyramid scheme, in my opinion. Trump did install Betsy DeVos as his Secretary of Education. There's not another person I can think of who has done more to advance the evil agenda of MLM than Donald Trump. So, you know, I'm being very clear about that. One of the weirdest things about MLM pitches, says Shu Murphy, is that they tell you not to Google the company, and if you do, it's not trustworthy. Exactly. Also, classic victim blaming. Why didn't they go to the police if they were really... Exactly. Appreciate you, Jared. Thank you, Woo Warren. Thank you for being here. Is there still 1,000 fake people watching? No, good. Also, I made this point in my video so eloquently because I'm a genius. I said in my video, when these people tell you not, you know, Nathan in my ACN video is like, go, don't believe what you read on Google. The internet is like, it's like the bathroom stall. Anyone can write anything. That doesn't mean it's true. That specific analogy of the bathroom stall has been recycled by MLM scammers for generations, literally for decades. And it begs the question, if I shouldn't believe Google because anyone can say anything, why should I believe you? You're just a guy saying something too. Yeah, people tend to be blinded when they think money is rolling in. Yeah, there's a great saying. It's hard to make a man understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding it. Yeah, Maribel Blue knows all about the Bernie Madoff thing. Okay, let me continue this. Stop ranting.
Tell people, because not everyone waits.
That being said, yes, Tex, thank you for telling everybody to report to the FTC. Like you've done anything to advance the anti-MLM, you know. You're literally a fucking MLMer yourself.
Or listens to the very end, right? So they're not going to hear it if you only put the message out at the end. So you put it out at the beginning so they hear it. But then you remind them at the end, because by the time you get to the end of some of these are like 3 or 4 or 5 hours long, Peter. It's amazing. I don't know how they yak like that. It's just a talking head for hours and hours on one subject.
Says the guy who does literally has done countless hours of audio saying the exact same thing for over a decade. Can't make this shit up.
Right. I mean, we talk for an hour and a half, but we cover multiple subjects every week.
No, you don't.
They cover one thing and just beat it to death. And so that's why I say do it at the beginning and the end, because a lot of people are going to forget about it if you only do it at the beginning. But just take 30 seconds and say, look, you know, contact the FTC, tell them of your experience. You know, just tell your story. Just like we tell people who are guests on the show. Just tell your story. You know, what happened to you? What was going on? What was your experience? But they don't do that. Most of them. Some of them do have some sort of links or things in their write-up on their, on their YouTube.
Their write-up,
videos, below the main video part of it. But I don't think they draw much attention to it. And most people just don't look at that stuff. And certainly if you don't remind them, they're probably not going to do it. So that was really an interesting part of that interview that Robert FitzPatrick did, and how people just didn't have a clue, that the FTC existed or what they're for.
I'm putting on 1.5 speed because this is grueling.
Because we have to have people complain for them to do something.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we run out of time, the one thing the anti-MLMers don't complain about is if you think it through. Say, for instance, somebody's in Rodan Fields, and then they get their career cut from under them one way or another, and they decide, I'm done with this. I'm going to move somewhere else. That what we're not discussing is the probable lawsuits that Rodan and Fields will sue these leaders for going somewhere else and maybe recruiting their team with them. So that's one thing that you would figure an anti-MLM person would say, listen, these MLM companies, they shut the compensation plan down on you, and then they sue you if you try to continue your career. So
that's actually a great point, Peter. Thank you for that. For once, Peter makes a actual good point. That's another reason why it's so bad and why these companies are complete scams, because they're using this non-compete, these binding non-compete and non-disparagement clauses that they have. Most of these MLM companies have in the IBO sign-up agreement when you join the company, some fine print or some attachment that's not actually on the paper, but you have to go on the website to read it, which you're never going to do, that says you can never disparage the company publicly and we can sue you. And by the way, you can never sue us. It's a one-way, literal contractual bondage. Not only that, they have a non-compete that says you can't join any other multi-level marketing company for X amount of months after, and certainly not while you're part of ours. And even if you do go and join another one, you can't poach people who are on your team from this one. So Scott and Peter are the best at explaining all the things that are terrible with MLM, and then still saying at the end that everyone else is doing it wrong and that there is a right way to do it, and that overall it's a good thing.
Somewhere else. And they're not talking about that at all. They can't even think that far. And that's probably what's going to happen. I could bet you that if there are some of these top MLM gals and they switch over to another company that sells similar products in MLM and try to recruit people from their downlines with them to try to preserve their income in their career, they will be sued by Rodan and Fields into oblivion. So they'll get double whacked. Number one, they'll lose their income. Number two, now they'll have to defend themselves, and they'll probably be sued into oblivion. And you would think an idiot like Marco, who's having his ass sued by would have thought about that in his argument, but he didn't. So back to you, Scott.
Wait, would have thought about what?
Fields into oblivion. So they'll get double whacked. Number one, they'll lose their income. Number two, now they'll have to defend themselves, and they'll probably be sued into oblivion. And you would think an idiot like Marco, who's having his ass sued by, would have thought about that in his argument, but he didn't. So back to you, Scott.
I don't even know. I don't even know what he means.
Exactly. Now, it doesn't happen very often, of course, but I've never seen a company that got rid of their MLM and went to direct sales, suing people if they moved to a different MLM. We have seen several examples of distributors moving to other MLMs, where the original company stayed as an MLM, and then they got sued. And that's usually because it's part of the contract. It's part of the contract now with Amway is if you move to a different company, competes on Amway products, and Amway has a wide variety of products, so it's hard to find one that doesn't have competing products. But if you leave Amway, you can't join another MLM for 6 months. And if you do join another company, you can't contact any current Amway IBOs for 2 years after you leave. So there's those 6 months and 2 year rules. And I think other MLMs have similar rules, but it's mainly to keep their distributors as their own distributors, not other companies. It's to protect their own business. I think they would have a very weak argument, but to your point, they can still sue. It'll still cost these people money. They could still sue. I think they would lose if they change the business model from MLM to direct sales, and you had a large organization and you decide to move to another company and take your downline with you. I think that would be a very hard argument to make in court. But we'll have to see what happens with Rodan Fields and Sync when people start doing that, because I think a lot of people will, particularly, like you say, the people who have large organizations, they don't want to lose that income. So they can't just move over to another MLM and start from scratch without some major lifestyle changes, some downsizing. So it makes more sense to take their downline with them. So that'll be a real interesting dynamic that I'm sure we're going to see going on here, the next few months.
I actually don't think, though, that Rodan and Fields or Saint is going to be suing the distributors who leave, because if you're shutting down the MLM portion, why would you be mad when people go to another MLM? I feel like it sort of nullifies your claim to be able to do that. 1.5 is my speed IRL, no lie. Me too. I would like Marco's thoughts on Bitcoin too. In my opinion, Bitcoin is a scam. My friend James Jani did a great video on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and explains quite in depth how it's basically just a Ponzi scheme. It's from 1 year ago. It's called Crypto, the World's Greatest Scam. This video has 5.2 million views. Great video. Yeah. MKBHD commenting on it. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Best video of 2023. Pack it up. Damn, that's big. Marquez Brownlee saying best video of 2023. That's fucking big. Pickled Pepper. Peace out. Peace out, Susie. Later. Into Oblivion. Double whacked. Did we X off? Back to you, Scott. I don't have that on mine, I don't think. No, I don't have it on mine. Has anyone got a bingo yet? What's going on? Beyond, you're out of here too?
And these people, because there will be people leaving, especially the higher ups.
There's 5 minutes left in this. Well, let's finish it, and then, yeah.
Taking their organizations with them. And then we'll see how that plays out. But I think Rodan Fields and saying would have a very weak legal argument that, hey, I'm going to take away all your money, then you can't go somewhere else and keep making money. That to me, I think it's just unfair. I don't think you get much sympathy from a judge or a jury on that point. So, but it would still cost them a lot of money to go through the whole lawsuit routine. So like we've always said, the lawyers always win on both sides, right? Whether
That's
the lawyer
true.
wins or loses the case, they win because they get paid. So keep that in mind. Lawyers always win.
That's true.
That's true. Well, guess what? We're almost done. I mean, we ran out of time.
Yeah. We had this hour and a half flew by as it usually does. We had some good stuff to talk about. There was one story, I guess, if I can squeeze this in, because as you know, this is my favorite MLM name. There's a story from August 1st, 2024. The headline is Alex D. pleads guilty to 8-figure dream lifestyle fraud. So this company that was shut down a few years ago, 8-figure dream lifestyle, which is like a neon sign to the FTC, please come and audit me. There was a couple other guys apparently that have already pled guilty, and this guy fell in line, and the sentencing will come later. But I just like to mention that company name because we're probably not going to see it more than about one more time with the sentencing, and then it's going to be banned. Right.
So we'll see.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. Well, thanks for the radio show, Scott.
Yeah.
Yep, we're done. So we'll close it up. Why don't you give them your website one last time?
The links on the left, income and product claims detailed as well, /Scott Tex Saturday. Unless you get put out to sea by the storm coming through this weekend.
The weather, we should be.
Oh, listen to this.
Unless there's some
storm coming through this weekend, early next week.
Unless there's some geoengineering on the weather, we should be fine. So
he had to sneak in one more conspiracy theory at the end. Geoengineering the weather.
So it's going to be way north of us, probably come over the top, give us a little bit of rain for the dry weather we've been having. But I think we'll be okay. We'll see everybody next week on Building Fortunes Radio. Thanks, guys.
Let's play the song.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Even though that episode, we had only a 37-minute clip from it, we didn't even watch the whole thing. Oh, that's sad. We didn't get a bingo. Even though that episode was only 37 minutes, man, and I put it on 1.25 or 1.5 for a good chunk of it. Man, it's exhausting listening to those two motherfuckers. It really is. It's insane. Still recovering from surgery, extremely medicated. Okay, Beyond, hope you feel better soon. The song is their saving grace. And it's just like a YouTube, look, bro. That's just like a YouTube royalty-free song. Scott Tex Johnson, Facebook.com. Scott Tex Johnson at Facebook.com. It's insane. It's insane. I want to share with you one last thing before I go here. This is about... Okay, here. This is about Saint and Rodan and Fields. Now, this is between myself and Robert FitzPatrick. He had a correspondence with a journalist who was inquiring about Rodan and Fields and their abandoning of MLM. And he said, here's part of what I sent her. Now, I didn't ask Robert if I could share this, but considering he's saying he sent it to a journalist, I think he'd be okay with me sharing some of this. So I'm just going to read some of it out. So, the journalist asked why basically Rodan and Fields would be abandoning MLM. Robert goes on to explain that you must first address the two basic underlying questions of what is MLM and why do people enroll. So I think you guys watching my channel already know what MLM is. So I'm going to spare you from his rudimentary, explanation to this journalist who doesn't understand about what MLM. You guys all know MLMs are scams in disguises. They disguise themselves behind products. Sometimes they use protein powder. Sometimes they use leggings. Sometimes they use insurance, but they're all the same scam at the end of the day. They're an endless chain pyramid scheme scam. So Robert goes on to explain when it comes to why people join MLMs, it's difficult because MLM disguises its character behind masks. We explained that. The brands, the names, the things they sell, those are all disguises. Beauty and health stores beauty and health products are in stores online everywhere. No one needs an MLM to find them. No one could actually earn a living today selling such goods one customer at a time. But the MLM income opportunity promises working from home, flexible hours, fun, no selling required, low costs, unlimited income potential, no business license needed, no special training needed, no college degree needed, and not even good credit. This is why people join MLM, not for brands and not to sell door to door or person to person, which is grueling and unprofitable and not really feasible. The income promise is not about selling products, but enrolling people in the endless recruiting chain. That is the heart and soul of MLM, not brand and products. MLMs were mostly for men in the early years up to the 90s. Today, it is 3/4 women. Why? The promises of MLM are tailor-made for working women, especially mothers. It also appeals to all people, men and women, stuck in work that does not pay the bills and seems to have little future. Even women who are not in the workforce but at home, they still need income for the home and a way to connect to a larger world. Think how many people that is. Unfortunately, none of the promises are real. 99% of all who join year by year never make any profits. Cumulatively, of all who join, less than 1 in 1,000. So even this 99% loss rate that's sometimes talked about is very misunderstood. 99% loss rate makes you think that only 1 in 100 make money, which is actually much better, makes it appear much better than it actually is. What the 99% loss rate means is that in a single year, 99% will lose money. So in year 1, 99 people lost and 1 person made money. In year 2, the person who made money from year 1 is likely the same person in the company in year 2. So it's not actually a new person. And the 99 who lost have been largely replaced by a new crop of 99, and the ones who have stayed are still losing. So in year 1, out of 100 people, 99 lost, 1 made money. In year 2, you have 99 people who lost and 1 made money. But over the course of 2 years, you have 199 people, because there was 100 in the first year, and then there's 99 of those lost money. Now in the second year, if we exclude the one who's still making money from the first year, there's a new 99 people. So we have a total of 199 people who have ever been in the company, let's say, and 99 of those will lose, and on and on and on and on. So if you extrapolate it out, that's why Robert says here, it's actually around less than 1 in 1,000. Less than 1 in 1,000. So to the questions, the 3 questions from the journalist. The journalist asks these 3 questions. Historically, there have been a ton of beauty brands that have operated under the MLM selling model. Avon, Mary Kay, Rodan & Fields, Beauty Counter, etc. What is it about the beauty industry that makes it ripe for MLMs? 2. Rodan & Fields and Saint announced they're shifting away from this model and moving to an affiliate sales model. What caused this shift, and what does it say about the state of MLMs overall? 3. Is the MLM model dying, at least in beauty? Why not? The first answer he gives is, beauty and health, cosmetics and vitamins or food supplements, are the great majority of MLMs because they're associated with women. Women are the main target for MLM. Women are in the most need for income from home, flexible, etc. Women face the hardest circumstances for earning a living. MLMs target all groups most vulnerable. Women are at the top. Subgroups include minorities, immigrants, military spouses, students, etc. Not only do women have the greatest need, but the networking required of MLM is more associated with women. As noted, MLM is a financial proposition. It is hunting for those most suitable to be roped in. It cannot and does not deliver its promises. It needs people in need and without knowledge or experience. To see quickly, it is deceptive and misleading. Younger women and the other groups I named fit the bill best. To a slightly lesser degree, health products, few have any actual evidence that they actually affect health at all. The health products are best for women also, but many men also do join such MLMs. Other MLM now use crypto, insurance, and real estate. Those MLMs are mostly enrolling men. That is a part of the big picture. But the beauty and health products, they don't need to be unique, just have good hype. With regards to why Rodan & Fields and Saint are shifting away from MLM, he said, only in the last 7-8 years has the truth about MLM, that the income opportunity does not exist, it's all a lie, has gotten widely spread. This is now happening with films and mostly with podcasts operated mostly by women. The MLMs that are changing model are actually going bankrupt. Shocker! Oh, so it wasn't actually a positive departure to see more growth and continue helping people into the future, as all these companies say. They're actually just going broke? Interesting. I wonder how that happened. The MLMs that are changing models are actually just going bankrupt. Changing model is a code for failing. Again, doublespeak. Things are great. We're shifting. We're going in a new direction, aka we're going out of business. The truth about these schemes is finally getting out there, and recruiting is affected. MLMs need momentum. The truth counters that momentum. So it is mostly women spreading the truth to other women, resulting in MLMs that are focused entirely on women that are the first to go down. Is the MLM model dying? At least in beauty. Why or why not? Overall, MLM is in decline. Amway sales are at the lowest point in many years. Big MLMs like Nu Skin and Usana, public companies that must report sales truthfully, are also down significantly. This has nothing to do with products, brands, or market. It has only to do with more people learning, not from news, but from films, websites, and podcasts, that MLM is a false story. What keeps MLM afloat is a lack of information reaching more people and the increasing desperation of more people for income, which they can't get in the job and career marketplace, and inflation of basics, health, education, childcare, etc. These dire conditions cause people to want to believe MLM hype, but sad, hard experience is emerging and gradually reaching more people. Bars. As usual, nobody can say it better than Robert FitzPatrick. And, yeah, it's so true what he said. Thank you for this dono, Flip. $20. Thank you, Flip. Really appreciate that, bro. Means a lot. Lord Vader. What the hell? Dr. B again?
Dr. B just tithed 100 Canadian dollars to the cult.
$100?
I gotta get the bag.
Come on, Marco. Fuck him. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Bingo.
Wow. Dr. B. What do I gotta give you my firstborn child? What's going on here? This is craziness. This is crazy. Thank you, Dr. B. Really means a lot, bro. I can't explain. Thank you, thank you. It's crazy out here. Oh, maybe that's why my button wasn't working. I was in the wrong profile. No, never mind. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. This is amazing. Let's go to the Starbucks, have a little opportunity meeting, you know? Craziness. Just complete madness. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I guess we're probably not going to get to this today because I already been live for 2.5 hours. But Ray Higdon, I don't even want to platform Ray Higdon anymore. Ray Higdon just did a bullshit video talking about Saint and Rodan and Fields. And basically, it's like a soft pitch for come over to me, you know? Appreciate you, the pickle. Appreciate you, Lord Vader. Here I sit, brokenhearted. Come to make money in a real job. Only joined a pyramid scheme. So funny. Marco loves the bars and I feel inspired. Thank you. Pot meat kettle ×2. Let's see how many we rack up, right? Brokeback cult radio. Projection is their favorite tactic. I legit thought it was their actual picture. It's perfect. Who made that? I think NPAS made that, right? Okay, I'm scrolling through your comments. Let's see. Marco, have you looked into flat Earth at all? I actually did recently because somebody I was talking to at the gym was trying to convince me the Earth was flat. I'm not convinced. Appreciate you, Flip. The dad was a lawyer. Like I said, bonkers, says the pickle. Had a friend's parents take 5 years to finally break the contract. Crazy. It warms the cockles of my heart that Robert FitzPatrick no longer toils alone. Me too, man. I feel bad, man. Robert, shout out to Robert, bro. Big salute to Robert, man. That man was out here in the trenches, thugging it out and standing on business long before the internet, long before it was cool to do so, bro. G shit. For real. I miss when Cyclone used to play. I think Cyclone will still be triggered. Okay, here's what happens. If you donate a certain amount, there's different alerts. Like the one when Dr. B just donated $100, it was like a different sound, different font color, different, you know, the GIF of 50 Cent up there. The variations for this one are $20, $50, $100. Okay, here, let me just explain. if somebody donates, why can't I just click over to it? Discard changes. If somebody donates $20, it's the GIF of Bugs Bunny. Okay, and it's this sound. Hold on, how can I do it? Test. Okay, there, you see that? No, you don't see that.
Kevin donated 20 Canadian dollars. This is a test donation for 20 Canadian dollars.
So that's an example right there. That's an example of what it would look like. I think that worked, right? Test variation. Yes, so it's that with the Bugs Bunny thing, okay? That's what it looks like. If you donate, wow, this is cool that I can do this. If you donate $100, it looks like this with the 50-cent GIF. That's what we saw when Dr. B did it. If you donate $50, I know we're jumping around in price here. It looks like this. Oh, no. Wrong. I was wrong. Okay, here, $50 is this. $50 is this. The God did. $50 is the DJ Khaled. God did. So if it's $50 or more, but less than $100, it's that, okay? If it's $150, it's this. It's Mrs. Incredible. I don't know why the GIF isn't showing up. It's the GIF of Mrs. Incredible's fat bunda from the first Incredibles movie when she's looking in the mirror. And the song Cyclone by Baby Bash, which was a certified hit back in 2007. 20, we did 100, we showed 150. And then I think this is the biggest one. The biggest one is $200, and it's this. It's the GIF of Nicki Minaj twerking it, and the song Only. The instrumental for the song Only plays, and I will rap the entire Nicki verse. And who knows, maybe if you're lucky, I'll also do the Drake verse. So it's possible. The world is mad, life ain't easy, no one makes it out alive. Bars. That dude makes my skin crawl. Only is 400. No, it's not. Yeah, okay, we just did the test. I laughed so hard in the car today, listening to one of your videos in which you are so proud of Robert FitzPatrick, saying your interview with him was the best he'd had. Your swagger amused me. I've never seen, I don't remember last time I heard the word swagger, like with the ER. You gonna say swagger with the hard ER? That's a bit crazy. You know? Only used to be 400, no? In the old days? Maybe. I don't remember. I really don't remember. Maybe I lowered the price. I don't know. I really don't know. But, okay, that's all I got for today. Maybe next stream. I don't know. I have a few ideas. I have a few topics I want to talk about for stream. I want to do a stream about Logan Paul suing CoffeeZilla and CoffeeZilla getting screwed over by his liability insurance. I want to do a stream talking about maybe that Vince video where Vince is saying that calling me an e-beggar. What was the other one I had? I had written down another idea for a stream. We did that one, the MLM shutting down. I gotta go through my notes and organize this shit a little bit. Oh yes, okay, but that was an actual. Okay, that one I'm thinking of was actually a video idea, not a stream idea. But I guess I could stream it too. Okay, the Trump only cover was the best. Yes, appreciate you guys. Yeah, I did a version of Only. How did I do that? I did a version of Only where I was like rapping the verse to Only, but as Trump. And I was like, I don't even remember how I did it. There was like some footage. It was like some video of Trump talking that I muted the audio on and I let it play. And then I did the voice over it. And it looked like, I made it look kind of like he was rapping Only. It was actually pretty good. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much. Dr. B coming in with the big bag last second. That's amazing. Fuck yeah, bro. Thank you so much. Pay some bills. We call it paying bills. Dr. B. Whoa, hold on. Something's not right. Something's not right. Dr. B dropped another $50 and another $50. So I don't know what happened. Maybe he dropped those while I see the dono says 234. Maybe he dropped those while I was doing the test donations and I missed it. Or did y'all see those pop up? Hold on. Dr. B donated again, another 100, bro. Oh, fuck, that was real. Oh, hold on, I was looking down at my phone. Bro, what the hell? That was just now. Why didn't I hear the audio for it? Was it muted? I don't know. Maybe it was muted. What the fuck? Dr. B, bro.
What you're about to witness is real.
Dr. B, what's going on? What's happening, Dr. B? Somebody help me figure it out. Who is this kid? Where did he come from? Whose kid is this? What are we gonna do about it? That's crazy. What the fuck? That's crazy. Dr. B dropping that doctor bag. Now I know what the B stand for, huh?
I gotta get the bag.
Took 2-3 minutes for my gifts to play. Weird. Dr. B, thank you so much, brother. You're the GOAT for that. That's crazy, for real. Thank you, Dr. B. No more. No more, Dr. B. You've done enough. I already owe you my firstborn child. What can I do? What can I do, God? Thank you, bro. The good doctor, for real. G shit. Super quadruple G shit. Mega ultra G shit. Wow. As if his bag dropping on July 27th wasn't enough. You got to come back in on August 9th just to drop a bag upon your head top one more again. Thank you, guys. All right, well, that kid is not my goon. The kid is not my... So stupid. All right, you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. This was a good stream. I had fun with this. Maybe we'll get back to Scott and Peter again soon come. And yeah, more streams. I got some catching up to do. If you've noticed, in the past like week, I've done more streams. I also did a stream on my second channel, Always Marco 2, which wasn't about MLM related stuff, but it was just me chopping it up with the goons and talking to you and reacting to stuff you like. But I did the Trump Kamala stream 13 days ago. The Saint Rodan and Fields one 8 days ago. We're doing this one today. So I'm trying to catch up, you guys. I appreciate you being here. Road to 100K. New videos coming soon. New Infiltrating a Pyramid Scheme video coming soon. Of course, if you're a member on Patreon or on YouTube members, you'll get access to the new vids early. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all being here. Love you. Do the right thing. Help people. Peace. Dr. B and the N stands for Obama. So true. Appreciate you guys.
Marco.
Do you like me?
Chocolate chip.
Billions and billions.
So, baby, how good was that? Let's indict them.
Gotcha.
I take responsibility.
God did. It's all about residual income.
It's an evil world we live in.
Knowledge. Money.
Sorry, I just like the buttons. All right, peace.